Today's game is...
When the Russian special forces are called in to deal with a bunch of terrorist scumbags, who would have thought they would walk into a zombie-infested hellhole? Currently there is no English voiceovers, only subtitles, but this adds to the game's style, boasting amazing atmosphere, awesome game mechanics, and a purity Russian doctor. What is not to love?
Oh man. Oh man. How you guys doing? Oh jeez, I'm about to like jump out of my own skin here. This has been something that I have been waiting to do for a very long time. And as you can probably like hear, I'm like very hyped about tonight. So I'm gonna try to get that out of my system in the beginning of the intro. And I'm probably gonna peek the mic a few times, but you guys should know me by now. So welcome everybody, welcome to the Paranoia stream. This ain't just any Paranoia stream. Tonight I have a very special guest with me. I'm going to introduce him in a sec, but I just wanted to kind of go through the usual hoops. So yeah, we're doing Paranoia tonight with the lead developer behind the mod himself, Buzzer, or as he's known, Mikhail. He is here. He is going to provide any and all dev commentary he wants to talk about, including like the development, the I guess the post-release, like anything he wants to talk about. And if you guys have any questions at all, please like feel free to throw them in the chat. Anything goes. I mean, you could even ask him like what his favorite fruit is. I'd have to say like a banana, but he could say like a pear or something. So whatever you guys want to ask him, I or he will read them off. And I have a whole list of questions I'm going to ask him. I just want to preface this by saying that I am not an interviewer by any means. So this isn't going to be like a very strict, formal, like, interview. Like, this is going to be relaxed. We're all going to hopefully have a good time. And it should be really fun. So I'm going to introduce him right now. So... ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome Buzzer, or as his real name is, Mikhail. Oh, I guess I should have unmuted before I say that. Let me try that again. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome Buzzer, or as his real name is, Mikhail. Welcome, man.
Hey, thank you. Hello, everyone. So yeah, my name is Mikhail. So I'm the guy behind this mod. So, and I guess today we will play the mod and I'll do some comments over it. So I'll answer your questions basically. So yeah, let's get started, I guess.
All right. So I guess to start off, while I'm getting the game set up. So what gave you the idea for this mod? Like, what was your inspiration? What kind of pushed you to start making levels for this? Like, how did development start?
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting question. So first of all, I started making levels for the games in early 2000s. So I think in the beginning, in 2000, I think I've been making some levels for original Counter-Strike, what later became, I think, Counter-Strike 1.3, 1.4, and 1.6, I guess. So I started with that, and I think back then I also got my first digital camera. So I started like taking lots of pictures for the textures and stuff. And you know, this the tools that I had and the digital camera with all this stuff, I created my first levels for the Counter-Strike. They were like a multiplayer levels, and at some point I thought it would be cool to make like a single player levels. And I knew the tools already. I had a big base for the textures, and I had lots of ideas. And that's how I started. I think in 2003 or 2004, I decided to start like a series of single-player levels, and that's the thing. So that's how I started the mod. So, and my inspiration was mainly the Counter-Strike series. So all this counter-terrorist theme. And I'm a big fan of Resident Evil games. So that's my take on like marrying, you know, these two games, like Counter-Strike / Rainbow Six theme and the Resident Evil theme. So with the zombies and stuff. So yeah, that's how it started. I was alone in the beginning, so. I think as a base, I took Spirit of Half-Life. I'm not sure if you know this mod. So it's a mod for modders, basically. So it creates or it has a lot of cool features for the modders, and so you don't have to know the programming. For example, you can switch some models, like a character models. You have some extra features on top, and that's how I started. I thought the base for the mode will be this Spirit of Half-Life mode, and yeah, I started making levels, and I started like publishing the screenshots on one of the forums in the Russian Half-Life community. And after a year or so, people starting like joining my team. So I got a programmer, I got a bunch of modelers, animators, and one really talented artist made the key art for the mod. You know, this like iconic art that you can see on the box cover. So yeah, and the whole development took probably like 4 years in total, and yeah.
You know, I'm curious about something. You said that you were a huge fan of Counter-Strike, and I assume that would also mean the engine. But what stopped you from starting the mod in, say, the Doom engine or the Quake engine? Why the Half-Life engine?
Yeah, mainly because of the tools. I knew the tools. I was good in making levels already, and back then, as I said, most of the people, they were like reusing a lot of content from different games and from the different maps even. So, but I thought would be really awesome to take like a real life stuff and put it in the game. So that's why I've been using my digital camera a lot. So, and yeah, I thought it's a good like a base to start, you know. So I know the tools, I have the base for my textures and for a lot of references. So that's the thing.
All right, well, questions won't stop there. Let me just hop in and kind of get the one of my favorite parts. Like most Half-Life mods, when they do training rooms, they either like modify the hazard course or they don't include anything. But one of the things I really liked about this mod was that you have a full like training camp. Like there's like a weapons course, a gas mask course. This pretty much had everything. Like it really put you in the shoes of like a real Spetsnaz soldier, which I really liked. And I guess that brings me to a question that I just came up with. How did you know about all this stuff working? Like, how did you know the military works and all that? Like, how did you know to make it accurate to the real military? Like, do you have any military background?
No, I don't have any military background, but I have internet.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that works.
Yeah. So yeah, the first part, basically, I'm a big fan of Half-Life, original Half-Life. I think this is like a best game ever made.
Hell yeah.
I love it, especially I love the beginning when you arrive into this Black Mesa, you know, and when you just walk around and you look at stuff and you just witness everything that happens. And I thought it would be cool to have a same or similar opening, you know, when you just explore. And I think when you, if you talk about like immersion and stuff, the best thing to do this is usually to make like player explore in the first like 15 minutes or so. So he, you know, explores the environment. He checks the details. You know, he basically gets immersed into the world. He maybe reads some like a notes, and I think this is this trick is really powerful, and it worked in Half-Life. So I think why not to do this for my game, right? And speaking of references. I mean, I've been in some like a military camps, of course, as a like a visitor, not as a like a guy who serves there.
Yeah.
But and in my hometown, I'm from Siberia, which is like somewhere like in the middle of Russia, so it's really far away from the capital city. But in my hometown, we had a military camp over there, and at one point, I think this military camp was relocated to somewhere else, and the like a barracks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was open, so I could enter the camp, you know, and I could just walk around there, and I don't need like a permission or something. It wasn't like really trespassing or something like that. So that's where I took a lot of pictures from, you know. So I wasn't really in the barracks itself, you know. I was just like walking around, and I was taking pictures of the buildings and stuff. So yeah, that's where I took a lot of like references.
So, well, speaking of references,
like
are any of these pictures on the wall anybody you know, or any friends or family?
No. I think these are from the internet. I've been looking at some cool websites dedicated to like a military, like a Spetsnaz stuff, and that's I just collected a lot of pictures. So I thought that would be a nice touch. And this is actually the first room, right? And you can see a lot of details placed over here. So that's what I've been talking about. So it's like first 15 minutes or so, it's always good to put a lot of details into the environment, so you can explore and check the stuff, and I like it. And it's actually storytelling as well, right? So you can see the daily life of people, right? And usually you can describe the owner of the room by the details, right? That you see.
I was gonna ask about that. Is there any story behind the drums, or is that just more storytelling? Like, do you have like a background in drums or anything, or does your musician?
No. I think it's one of our modelers. I think he does those like drum, I think, and I think he just modeled his drums, and he just sent it to me. So I thought, why not to put it here? And I think the computer, I think that's also from him.
So you could, I noticed this and didn't even think about it, but yeah, like the whole thing is camo. Like that's kind of cool. That's just like the dude is just like, I just want to customize my PC on the outside, so we just painted it. Like, that's cool. I like that. So I guess my next one would have to be, when coming up with the design, the story, the gameplay, did you come up with this yourself, or did you have any like inspirations from any like movies, horror movies, action movies, anything?
You know, it's I don't know if you played this game like Return to the Castle Wolfenstein, I think.
I love the hell out of it. I love that game.
Yeah. And actually, I wasn't aware about this zombie twist, in this game. And for me, it felt when I started playing this game, it felt like another like Medal of Honor or Call of Duty game. I thought, well, it would be nice to play. And then when this twist happened with the zombies and all this like dark magic stuff, and I was really impressed. I think that was really cool, very well done. And I thought I'll try to do something similar to this. Like a twist, so that we start really as a boring, well, not boring, but like routine.
Yeah,
thing,
standard operation.
Just to fight like a terrorist, and then in the end it turns up that we have some mutants and zombies and some other like a horrible stuff happening. So that's the thing. Yeah. So and I just remembered. So actually, this building that you like exploring at the moment, I think the original reference was my school.
Really?
So of course yeah. So the layout is not like 100% the same, but the shape of the building, the structure, the high level layout is the same. Yeah. So I just turned it into like a barracks.
Wow, I would have guessed that maybe you were inspired by Full Metal Jacket for like the barracks. If you've seen that one.
The barracks, the architecture for this like a military stuff, it's all functional, right? So, and I think the whole barracks, they look the same. It doesn't matter if it's like a US army or Russian army, it's pretty much the same. It's about like how to fit 30 people into like a small space, and that's purely like a functional thing. So I think that's why all like barracks, they look the same. Yeah.
I'm curious. I've just noticed this. Are any of these faces like any of you guys, like the developers, or is this from like a face website?
I would say it's like 90% it's us.
Really? Can I point you out in the group? Are you in here?
I'm not sure. Can you?
Like, what color is your hair in this?
No. It's. I mean, if I see myself, I can tell you. So, but I think this guy is like a modeler. I think one of the. I think the guy with the guitar. That's the guy who did the drums and stuff. And
wow.
Yeah.
That's a tradition. Like in a lot of old games,
exactly.
they use faces of the devs, so I like that.
Yeah, I mean.
And that's why everybody looks so young.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's always fun.
You know what?
Especially,
Oh,
yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, especially in Half-Life, when you for the first time you see like a guy who that looks like you, for example, or like myself, and when he starts like speaking, you can see like his mouth like moving, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Name of the guitar song.
That's me.
Wait, what? Oh, that was you? Wait.
That was me, like walking in the hallway.
This you?
Yeah, but of course, like a younger version.
Wow, that's crazy. So I'm guessing you look nothing like this now. Like I'm sure you got like a giant beard and
Well, not giant, but yeah. Yeah, I feel older. I mean, look older, of course.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
That's cool. So someone in the chat, Asin, says, "What is the name of the soldier? Listen at the reception." So I assume he means the guitar. Do you know? Is that from like a YouTube or not YouTube? That wasn't even around then.
You mean the song?
Yeah. Is this from something?
I think it was like the popular song. I think it was covered to this. Was it like a British group, like Status Quo?
Mm-hmm.
They made like "You Are in the Army Now." You know this famous like song. Do you know this? Yeah, I think the band called Status Quo. And yeah, it doesn't matter. So, but there's like a small cover from on one of the fans, I think. But we didn't do that. That was done by someone else. I just took like a recording.
Okay, that's cool.
But it's funny. It's like a funny translation of the song, and it has some some bad words like swearings and stuff. But it's very funny if you understand the lyrics. Yeah.
Wow, I gotta say, I'm surprised there's not that many. I mean, besides like the usual people who tune in, I spread this around. I was like, hey, like Paranoia with like the lead dev, like come on, and like I don't recognize like anybody from like the Russian community. I'm surprised. Maybe like they're just late or something. Like I don't know what time it is in Russia right now. It's got to be AM, right?
I think it's like Moscow time is probably like one hour like PM. So you know it's almost like a lunchtime. So I don't know.
God, I hope they show up. Like this is pretty big. Like there's just gonna be so much knowledge. I mean, the stream will be saved. So once it's done, people can watch it. But nothing beats watching it live. Like you gotta watch it live. All right.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I think there was like a guy behind the computer.
Yeah.
It's like he was like breaking into like a pentagon. That was all funny.
No. Wait a minute.
I think that's what he said. You know, this the guy behind the computer. I think
wow.
When you like interact with him, he's saying it's like don't. Oh, it's like I'm busy. I'm breaking into like a pentagon. That was funny. But
that is awesome.
Next time, if you will be here, I think just pay attention to what he's saying, and it's like funny. It's like I think we had a lot of jokes like here and there, and especially in those like text messages, there are like so many like funny jokes.
Oh, it's too bad the resolution is so small. Like that was.
But I think it's fine. It kind of fits to your like an introduction with the old school effects.
Oh man, that's awesome. It's stuff like that you know. I think people take their projects like way too seriously. I think it makes the project so much more fun when you throw in stuff like that. Like that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Nowadays you have to. It's like if you make like a commercial project, you have to take care of like so many things, and you have to like basically filter your stuff, right? And if you do like a free-to-play game, you can like crack any jokes you want, or like any stuff you want, basically.
It's kind of sad that's gone now. Like that era. Yeah. It'll be missed for sure. So, I'm seeing some common stuff here. I'm curious, did you guys get these animations from a website, or did you have like an animator who did all these? Because, I mean, there's a dude mopping, there's a guy peeling potatoes, like, this is detailed stuff.
Yeah, I think the base for like a animation set for like a Spetsnaz, you know, for the military guys, I think we took it from original Counter-Strike Condition Zero single player. I don't know what's the name. What
deleted scenes.
You know this. Yeah, deleted scenes, of course. Yes, and I think I took some animations from there because we are like a free-to-play game, right? So it makes no sense to like create all these little animations from the scratch. But I think some animations we did it ourselves. You know, especially the ones that you've been talking about, you know, the guy like cutting stuff, and so those unique animations, we did it ourselves. So it was also quite cool.
Yeah, most mods don't even do that now. Like, you know, it's hard finding. Well, let me tell you, it's hard finding someone to animate guns. It is 10 times harder to find someone who animates characters. Like, finding character animators is almost impossible now. So that's really cool you guys managed to find someone who did that.
Yeah, and I think back then it was mostly like a handmade animation. It was tough to animate. Nowadays you can do the motion capture even with like your phone and stuff. But back then it was tricky. Yes.
You know, this is something that I've been curious about for years. When you guys were doing the maps, I mean, this is Goldsrc we're talking about, so how many times did you run into, like, the limits of the engine, and you had to completely, like, remap something or take something out? Like, how frustrating was it making maps in Goldsrc?
That's my life. You know, back then, yeah. So I always had those like limitations, especially with the levels for Counter-Strike, and yeah, I've managed to like work with it. And for the single-player games or like mods like Paranoia, for example, it's even tougher because you have to make like a smaller levels, and the reason why is that if you look at the textures on the walls or like on the ground everywhere, you will notice that the resolution is much like a greater, right? So it's not like a 125 by 125. Sometimes it's even like a 512 by 512. And when you increase the resolution, you basically run into problems. So you have to do the levels like a smaller. And that's why I think overall we had like a 50 levels or like 50 like chunks in Paranoia, you know. And yeah, that's why some levels are like super like ridiculously like small. That's why. And yeah, there was a problem basically. But as you can see, it works, and even if the level is small, it's fine. I think the loading times are not that long, right? Comparing to the second Half-Life. In the first Half-Life, it just flies, right? So,
you know, I see a lot of people in the chat. They're talking about like the music is awesome, JD and Slot. I'm curious, how? Oh man. Okay, so for the music by Slot, like, I noticed there's no, like, vocals or anything. So, did you guys have to contact the band and ask for, like, the instrumentals, or how did that work out?
Yes, so, the guy that did, who did the music, the JD guy, so he, I think he contacted them and he asked if it would be possible to get some this instrumental tracks for our like a free-to-play game, and yeah, we were surprised and they gave it to us, and of course for like non-commercial usage. So, and I think this is the only place where you can listen to those tracks without any like voiceovers or like a vocals, you know. So we were lucky, basically.
Do you know if the band actually played the mod and like did they ever like contact you like, hey, you know, this mod is awesome, like our music is perfect in this, or have they not contacted you at all?
I'm not sure. I need to ask this guy if because he was the one who was like talking to them. So no one contacted like me directly. But I know it's like on like Wikipedia, I think on the official slot page, they reference our project, so they know for sure.
That's cool.
So.
I wish I could have gotten JD too, but I looked on the ModDB and he was last online so long ago, I don't even have his contact info. But
yeah, it's been a while. I think we had a team of like 10 people or so, and plus, of course, the people who did like voiceovers and helped with the translation and so on. So, and I think from the whole team, I think we had maybe like 2 or 3 people that are like still making games, including myself. But the other people, for them it was like just a hobby, you know, like a side project, and they did it for fun. So I'm not sure if they like really following the community, but they're still like proud that they were part of this project. So
I would be too. This turned out to be not only like an amazing experience, but something that like a lot of people, including myself, have never forgotten. I had someone in the chat earlier say that they have played this game like 14 times. So, I mean, this is something that a lot of people have really good memories for. So it's something to be proud of, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that people still remember this game. I think it will be. I thought it would be like forgotten, in like a few years, but yeah, it's not, and I'm happy.
You didn't think that people would like Oh no. I completely lost my train of thought. I mean, did you know that it would become this popular, or do you think it would just be like, I mean, you said that you thought people would play to move on, but I mean, did you have any kind of idea that it would be like this big?
It's like you never know, right? It's like even with the big games, when you developers are usually not like 100% sure if the game will be like successful or not. So same here. And I think for me, this project I had just fun like developing it. So I wasn't really. For me, it wasn't that important if it would be like successful or not. So I had my part there and I had my fun. So during the development, and I'm happy that at least someone like played it in the beginning. So for me, it doesn't matter. But as far as I know, it's like if you check the statistics nowadays, it has more than I think hundreds of thousands like downloads, almost like 500,000. So if you check all the mirrors, the links that we had on the website, so it's a lot, I think. I wish it was like a commercial project.
Yeah.
but it's not. I'm fine with it. So. Yeah. Oh, that's actually the feature, the new feature that we had. It's like one of the unique features that you won't see in the games. This face shield thing. And
yeah.
I think in our game, every headshot is lethal. And I think with this feature we try to, to counter this mechanic, and I think it works quite well, and it feels unique. So, yeah.
I'm just like I mean I've played this. I've never played the Zash version, by the way. I didn't mention that, but this is the standalone version, and I've never played this. Like when I originally played this, a couple times it was on the Spirit of Half-Life. So it's crazy seeing like all these detail items in here like this. Like again, this is still Goldsrc fundamentally. So it's pretty insane.
Yeah, but I think the core in the beginning it used to be Spirit of Half-Life, but in the end, I mean, we had a really talented guy, the programmer, who did all those enhancements, like improvements for the renderer, and we got those fancy effects like a 3D skybox, those bump mapping, and this flashlight, for example, the projection, which is actually a projection. It's not like a live light in the world, it's more like a projection of the texture, which is like glowing, something like that. So yeah, we were happy that we had such like a talented programmer, and he did all this stuff for us. So, and that's what makes this mod unique, Of course, later I think we had the other mods that took this feature and they used it as well. For example, I think Cry of Fear, this mod.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they also took some our like features, like a rendering thing, and of course they reworked it. But yeah, I think we got it first, so yeah.
So I gotta ask. So if you guys were all like relatively young and all that, is this like someone's dad or someone's grandpa, or is this like from the internet, the general?
I think that's a friend of my father. I asked him to like take pictures for the game, of course, and he agreed. So yeah, that's of course the real guy. So it's not like a pictures taken somewhere from the internet. It's a real person.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Like someone, your father's friend is like immortalized. Like that's kind of badass.
Yeah, and it's just fun. And I don't remember if I showed this to him, but I'm sure even if he saw, I'm sure he was also like quite happy. To see
Oh
this.
yeah, big time,
Because
man.
it
like,
looks funny. Yeah. It's like first time you see someone on the screen, and it's like in the game. It's always fun. Yeah.
Let's see. Heck in the chat said, "Oh, this is a really, really good question. Where'd the name come from? Where did Paranoia come from?"
It's a good question. I think in the beginning I've been looking into the name that fits like both. That means, or like that's which is like the same word in Russian and in English. So and that's why I took this name. And of course it should reflect the theme of the game, right? And I thought in the end, when you have this psychic monster that controls the clones in the end. And creates all this like paranoia thing. I think it fits kind of, and yeah, that's why I chose this name. It should fit the theme, and I think it works well. So
yeah. Hey Reborn, we've really just been in the intro. We're talking about all like the engine and technical stuff, and I think we're about to head off. No, we have to do the training first, but we're about to head off to the factory. Let me see. Do I have anything that would fit in?
Yeah,
oh, here we go. We were talking about music. I should have asked you this earlier. How did JD come onto the project? And what was what do you think his inspiration was for the music?
I think we met on one of the websites dedicated to like a Half-Life or Counter-Strike, I think. And I think he also did some maps for Counter-Strike, for original one. Like some custom stuff, and I think he also does some like music in his free time, and that's when he joined the team, and he asked if he could make some music for us. So that's how it's all started. But for inspirations, it's hard to tell. I mean, we should ask him. But for the main theme that you hear in the menu, I think I asked him to make it similar to, or like, so it feels the same as this Resident Evil main theme, you know, in the movie. In the original movie, we had this iconic main theme playing, and I thought that's a cool reference for the main theme for the mod. And that's why it might sound familiar. So that's the thing.
Nice. Let's see.
Yeah.
I guess we're just gonna do like all the questions in the intro, and then, you know, we're just knocking them all out. That's cool though. That's cool. So,
That's fine.
let's see. What else do we have? Okay, let me ask you a small question, and then a big one, and then a huge one, but small one.
Mm-hmm.
So after the mod released, did you guys get any press or any media attention? Did Valve contact you or anything?
No. I mean, Valve didn't contact us, but speaking of like some press and stuff, I think we had like a few articles in the magazines. And I think back then the gaming magazines were still alive, so nowadays they're pretty much dead. So, and I think we had like one small article in Edge, you know, this British magazine about games. I think it's called Edge. And we had a bunch of articles in some Russian magazines. I even did like one interview. Was quite fun. And of course we won the prize in Mod DDB, Mod of the Year. I think this mod was like editor's choice, so we got this award from the editors. So it's like I think it was like Mod of the Year Editor Choice 2007 or something like that. Yeah, that's what we got. And it was quite surprising because we had a lot of like competitors, you know, like the other mods, the other cool games back then.
Yeah, during that period, I mean, even before that, you had just so many iconic mods and projects. So the fact that like you were able to get Mod of the Year that's a big deal. That's a huge deal. Because I mean, at the time, like you had projects that were so, I guess, high fidelity that's really loud, those gunshots. That's that's nice. But, I mean, you had a lot of projects that really pushed the limits, like Paranoia. So that's definitely a problem.
Yeah, but I mean, we were happy, so it's like in the process. I didn't ask for that, but if you got something, we're happy. I'm just glad that people support the game. I think that's the best thing that you can get as a developer. That people still remember your game and they're still having fun, even if it looks outdated comparing to the modern games. And you know, that's the thing, it's like to create the modern game, you need so much resources, you know, so much people and so much time, you know, to create all those little details. And with the old engines, you kind of have more like a freedom, you know, in terms of creativity, you know. Of course, you have limitations, but at the same time, you can do a lot. Yeah. No wonder that the modern indie games, they usually do the low poly stuff, you know, because it's like cheaper to produce.
Yeah,
that's how it used to be with mods as well. So it's like you don't need like a month to create a level. You could do it in like a few days because the textures are smaller and the models are cheaper, you know, less complex. Yeah. And as I said in the beginning, I think that the whole development took us like 4 years, but it wasn't like full-time. I think we did it on weekends for 2 or 4 hours every weekend or so. So it's just like a small project. So that's why it's so small. In terms of like gameplay time. Yeah.
You know, I'm curious.
So,
how's the delay on your screen? Like, where am I at right now? Am I outside with the truck yet or no?
not yet. You are going through these tunnels to the outside, and now I think you are going to the outside. Yeah, when you see the helicopter for the first time.
Oh, that's definitely using the helicopter from Half-Life 1, right? The AI.
Yes, I think the most of the archetypes, you know, the zombies, the soldiers, and the scientists, and the helicopters, everything is Half-Life. So it's mostly like archetypes from the game, like a behavioral, you know, AI behavior stuff. And I think these are just the scientists with different skins and different like voiceovers. So.
Whoa. Oh no. Okay, I think I found one Zash bug. No, it's not the skybox, but you'll see in a sec. It's the camera truck.
Oh wow.
Do you know about this one?
No. Wow.
What if I...
It's something new.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think the original mod was built for Windows XP, so back then there were like no... I think the Vista was a new thing, but of course all these new bugs, I think it's related to the new like hardware and the new OS, so that's why you still can encounter some of this stuff.
You know, there's something I noticed that I've actually never thought about before. It's cool how... It's cool how you go to a new area and come back and things change. I noticed that when you go to an area and come back, you'll have, like, soldiers walking paths. You'll have, like, doors open, doors closed. Like, right now, like, earlier there was a guy in front of the door and the doors were locked. But now that we've gone to the firing range and come back, now the guard's gone and the doors are open. So instead of just like going back to the same map, I assume that you go to a new map that has the same layout, right?
Exactly, yes. So it's like I think I was the one guy who that did like all the levels, and for me it was really interesting to try to to reuse the space and try to like come up with the ways when I can like do the level once and reuse it in like a different ways. And I think this is also like a cool trick in terms of like immersion, that you see the same place and it changes, kind of this same Half-Life thing that you have in the beginning of the game, when the stuff changes. And you see that the environment is not like static, it changes, so it feels alive. And that's what I try to do here as well. So you see the same base, but on alert, in alert state.
That's pretty smart. I can see that most mods would just have you backtrack to the same map and everything's the same, but yeah, the way you did this, I mean, you can make anything change. Like, you could go into like the little firing range outside and then come back, and like the entire base is like on the moon or something. Like, you can do anything you want at that point. So that was actually a pretty nice idea. That turned out nice.
Yeah. But as the environment is still the same, I try to do it with the animations, that the NPCs are doing the different things. And especially in the first level, when you see like the two guys looking at the truck, they like fixing a truck. It's like if you come back there later, you could see them like actually fixing the truck, I think in the first part they're looking at the wheel or something.
Yeah.
Something was broken, and later you can see them like actually fixing the truck under the truck. So it was quite cool. And I think if you come back in the beginning, if you come back to the kitchen, you could see the cook like smoking, or like a chef, smoking outside, and that's also like a small detail. I'm not sure if someone noticed it. But,
wow. Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool, man.
Yeah, for this sequence, I think in the intro in the truck, I think I had the first version where I had background. So I tried to like move actual truck through the level, but in Half-Life it looks ugly, and if you look at from to the outside through the windows, it just wasn't that good. So that's why I tried to close everything at the windows, and I tried to focus like on the interior only, and that kind of worked. So again the same bug with the texture.
Yeah, I'm curious. Did you voice any of these characters?
Yes, I did, but I did some like a radio voices. You can hear it like later.
Are you the bass, or?
No, I think there was like a one guy called October. There's like he's like a radio tech. I think it was October, but I think it comes later.
Okay.
You can hear.
I've always been curious. Well, Reborn in the chat wanted to know who voiced Kulak. I believe that's how you pronounce that. Like, I'm sure I just got it wrong.
Yeah. So the Kulak means fist in Russian. So we thought it would be cool to have those nice nicknames. And I think on the real radio, usually they don't call, of course, people by the real name. They have like some nicknames there. And the guy that did like a Kulak, I think I still talk to him a lot, and I think he's also like in the game development, in the modding. So he used to be. He tried to like also like do some mapping, I think back then, and one day I think he also approached me and he asked me if he could help us, with the voiceovers, and he did. So I think he did well. I like his voice. So, and you probably know that there was like a sequel for this mod, and this sequel was done by the other guy. And the original voiceovers, the guys that did like the voiceovers, I think they also did it for like a second game. So that's why you can hear the same voices here and there.
I'm glad you mentioned that. That was kind of gonna be my big question. How much involvement in Paranoia 2 did you have? And if you didn't have any, then how did it get made?
Well, originally, once I finished the original Paranoia, I thought it would be cool to make like a small add-on without making like a new content, you know, like a new models, new stuff, so I can reuse the stuff that I already have. And I think I planned for like 10 extra levels, and by that time I was already like working as a level designer in the for one company, and I had no like a free time, and I thought I would probably like drop off this project, so I had no time to do that anymore. And then one guy again like approached me, and he said maybe I could do that, you know, maybe you can guide me and I can like do the thing. And I think for this add-on I did like a first three levels, and I wrote like a story, and I even did like some dialogues, and we even like recorded some of the stuff. So I really thought it would be cool to make like a small like add-on. But as I said, I had no time, and this guy, the creator of the second game, he thought that he can pick up and continue, you know. And I basically gave him all my stuff that I already had. I gave him like original textures, like a reference materials, and the voices that I had recorded already. And yeah, that's how he started his project. But I think for him it took probably again like 4 or even 5 years to make this project, because he wanted to do it as a like a mod, you know, or like an add-on for original mod. But then later it ended up that I think he did it as like a standalone game with the better textures, like a new features, you know, like a graphical features on this, based on this Xash engine. So that's what he did. So yeah, I wasn't like directly involved into development, but as I said, I made like a base for the story and like a first few maps. And of course, I've been a tester, so I've been doing some like a feedback once we had the tests. Of course, not everything that I've commented has been like fixed or like improved, but that's on him. So I think that's his project, and I'm happy that he finished it, because I think it's a good quality when someone can actually finish what he started. So I think that's a good thing that he released the game. Because if you look at some mod projects, I would say majority of the mods that getting started, most of them are still like in development, you know. So people drop it, you know, or sometimes they have no time anymore, you know. So that's how it usually.
You know, that brings me to another really good question. I'm curious, like, how did you stop from losing motivation? Like, what kept you working on this without it getting stale or boring to you?
I mean, as I said, I have fun. It's like a hobby for me. It used to be a hobby which later turns into like a full, like proper like activity for me. Now I make actually money by like making games. So, and yeah, I just enjoyed the process. It was really fun, and it's like a magic, you know, when you let's say take a pictures of some buildings or whatever, some objects, and then later you can see them in the game.
Yep.
And it's the same thing that people have while like filming movies. You know, you have a base idea, and then you start like realizing it, you know, like so you see first like a text or whatever, like a blank list, and then the text, and then you start working on it, and then in the end you have something interesting, playable, and hopefully fun. So That's how it used to be. I just had fun. So.
Did you ever run into any? Did you ever run into any writer or not writer's block, like mapping block? Were you ever at a point where you were stuck and you didn't know how to proceed? And if so, like how did you get over that?
I think when I started, what I did, I started with making like prototypes. You know, it was like applications that were not connected to each other. You know, it was like a base, like an army application, let's say, like a military base, or like some industrial buildings. In the end, when I had like a proper location detailed with all the details and stuff, after that I started like connecting and building the levels out of this. So it was like a more like a reference. So I've been creating like a reference scene, and when I had all the sets ready, I've been like building the levels after that. So I think you're going into the wrong direction.
Oh shoot!
yeah.
I hear the gunshots, but go up the stairs. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. I think when I've been working on this mod, I wasn't that like experienced. So and now I can see a lot of like issues, like design-wise. You know, for example, in some levels it's not 100% clear where to go, or some exits or whatever. Your goal is not sometimes visible or readable enough, and I think here it's the same thing. You have to climb up here.
Is it the
You
ladder?
just have to climb. Yes, that's the ladder. You have to climb up, and then you have to follow those like railings under the ceiling, and then you have to go like through a small hatch.
Okay.
So yeah.
It's been a
That's
very
one of
long
those
time since I
things.
played this. Oh shoot.
Yeah. And it's not your fault. I think it's my fault because I didn't do it like readable enough. So it's a design thing.
Oh, I see. Here we go.
So I don't know, maybe because it's a delay. So not this one, but the other.
So I guess the big question on everybody's mind. This is this is kind of like Valve here. Are we ever going to get Paranoia 3 anytime in the future?
Probably not. I mean, not for Half-Life for sure. I had some ideas about like a sequel or something, like another game, but yeah, it's just hard, you know, to make or to find time these days.
Oh yeah.
Something different. And of course, I mean, I'm looking into like a modern engines, and I had some ideas for like small games here and there, but I'm not into like a modding anymore, especially for Half-Life, because the tools are like so outdated and it's like so frustrating to work with them. And when I was starting back then, it was like the best stuff possible, right? And nowadays with all this Unreal, Unity, and like CryEngine stuff, the tools are just so much more like user friendly, and it's just pain to work with old Half-Life. Even if I'm a big fan of this engine and the tools, but yeah, I can compare. And
Would you say that?
it's painful.
Would you say that the source engine would be better? Like, is there a possibility, if there ever was a Paranoia 3, that you would do it in the source engine, or are you thinking like an entirely different engine?
At the moment, I think for me my favorite engine is probably like Unreal because of the tools, as I said. And I'm not a programmer, but in Unreal I could do this visual script stuff. So this like a blueprint stuff. I don't know if you're familiar with it or if you heard of it. So it's basically you can program with visual nodes. You know, so it's like a great algorithm, but not by writing a code, but by linking some nodes. And it's very visual and simple and very handy, you know. So that's probably that would be the thing. But as I said again, it's like for the modern games, you have to do so much. You have to invest into the content, and for this game, it took us like 4 years to make. Imagine how much time it would need to make the game in our engine, like the same scope, let's say.
Yeah, you'd basically have to, I mean, you have like the base engine, but you'd have to program in everything you want to do, and that would definitely, and make all the assets from scratch. So I could see how that would be very time consuming. I mean, at that point, you'd almost want to make it into like a paid game.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and that's tough.
Although, this is just a suggestion. This is a giant suggestion. I don't expect it to happen, but you know what you could do is just remake or port 1 and 2 to Unreal, and then just have like a Paranoia collection and sell like the whole thing. That might be kind of interesting. I know a lot of people would be interested in that.
Yeah, but it's again, it's like you have to invest your time into this, and porting is not that easy.
No, it is not, absolutely.
Easy thing. Yeah, and of course, I mean, in the original Paranoia, we had a lot of borrowed content, you know, such as like sounds from the other games and some animations, for example, from Condition Zero or Half-Life 2. And yeah, so yeah, it's tricky. So, oh, this is a cool moment. So they start shooting at you, and then you hear like a glass breaking. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, that was a cool sequence.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is this the
So,
character?
yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah. So if I look at the game now, of course I can see a lot of things that I would like to improve. But as I said, it's like I don't really want to invest time in that because I could spend time on like maybe making another like a small game. Rather than coming back to the old project, it's always good to make something new, something that is not based on like the old stuff.
Absolutely. Especially for something this old, like it's... I could understand like going back and fixing bugs, but otherwise, you know, it's something that you're done with, you've moved on from that, and, you know, I almost wouldn't want you to go back and change this. It's nice having this in a state where all the work is representative of that era. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you go in and add a bunch of new stuff, you're going to get new stuff, old stuff. It's going to be kind of jarring. But right now, like, I'm playing the original experience, and I'm glad I can do that without having a bunch of stuff thrown in, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think a few years ago I tried to replay original Half-Life, and I don't really like this HD collection models and stuff. So I
don't
played
either.
it in original state, in like vanilla Half-Life, with the low poly meshes and like characters and everything. And I enjoyed it. I think this game is still awesome, even nowadays. The original Half-Life is just awesome. I like it more than the second one. Yeah.
Oh, yep. You know, it's kind of funny. When I played this mod, I actually got into the band. So, you basically got me into Slot, which is kind of cool. They have a lot of good tracks.
Yeah, some people complain about the music, so they say it's like regressing for the game, but I think it fits.
It fits perfectly. Look, those dudes are crazy, man. I mean, this is so iconic. Like, if anybody made a mod that changes the music, it wouldn't be the same mod. Like, that music is a huge part of this. It made it special. With everything else, you know what I mean? It's like going into Half-Life and replacing the soundtracks with something else, you know? You just don't do that.
Exactly. Yeah, one of the inspirations I think back then for me, it's like when I was like scripting all those like moving, you know, the teammates. I think there was a original Call of Duty when you always see a lot of like people like around you, and especially like a Captain Price opening the door for you. So I think that's you can clearly tell.
It works
but,
though. It works.
I was inspired. Yeah, so you can see like NPCs opening the doors for you. I think that was really cool, and I think it's a cool trick. So that you have to wait and you have to like listen to NPCs, and sometimes they ask you to open the door, and sometimes they open it. So I think it was a cool thing to do. But again, it's like this game was done in the time when Call of Duty was new, I think.
Yeah.
When the original Modern Warfare came out, was it like 2007? I think I haven't played Modern Warfare back then, but yeah, maybe Condition Zero was also inspiration in terms of like scripting the movement for the NPCs. And what I like about what I think went well, you know, with this with the levels for this game, is that I have some sections where you have action and some sections that are like calm, like where you have this tension. For example, here you just had like a firefight in those train yards, right? And then you have this calm section where you just walk and you see the helicopter like controlling the spots, and you feel like safe. And after that, you have another section where I think you play as like a sniper. So I think that was that's why the game still feels well, and because of the pacing, you know. So it just doesn't get boring, and I think that's what was done well.
Yeah, I've seen that mistake so many times, especially with games with like fast-paced gameplay. Like Left 4 Dead, for example. I've seen many times where people make campaigns where it is non-stop action. And that's fine for like the first segment of the game. But eventually you get tired out. And you need a break. And there's absolutely nothing there for you to do that. So not only is this like a good gameplay type thing, but it also helps the player to relax and maybe even explore his environment, which is something you want to have happen. Like, you could have your game where you are in, like, a hallway simulator, you know, it's just hallways. But if you put a lot of work into your level design, you want the player to have that option to explore and, like, appreciate, you know, your level design. So that works in both ways, and I think that's cool that you added that as well. Again, like, a lot of mods don't do that.
Yeah. And one of the things why I decided to like do all levels myself, because it's like I've seen it many times that you have like a bunch of level designers, they like working together on the mod or on the game, and they don't really like cooperate, you know. So the game as a whole, it feels just broken, you know. So it feels like a Frankenstein, you know. It's like made of different pieces, so it lacks like a direction, like overall thing. And I think when you do everything yourself, the whole experience feels more smooth. You know, it's like just feels better, feels as a whole. You know, rather than a bunch of different missions like linked together. So and that's why I think the Paranoia feels so maybe like feels as a whole. You know, thing like the experience.
I think
like,
the game
like
froze.
Oh, really?
I'm scared to click because I think it's going to exit out.
But luckily there are a bunch of like autosaves here and there, so I think you can continue.
All right, let me... Zash Launcher is not responding. Ah, shoot. Okay, no, that's okay.
So maybe then we could do like a few minutes break, so I can get some more water and
How
you can
dare
restart
you?
the game, right?
How dare you?
Okay.
You think? No, that's cool. Yeah, we can take a break. That's cool.
Yeah, okay,
I'm kidding.
No worries. Just 2 minutes, okay?
Absolutely. Take all the time you need.
Maybe the guys could get some questions.
Yeah, you guys haven't been asking any questions at all. Like, get some questions going. Ask Mikhail what his favorite fruit is. Like I said, like, do something, you know?
Okay, so I'll be right back.
All right.
Yeah, just a second.
We'll go ahead and put on the pause screen. There we go. You know, I'm kind of happy it did crash, because if it crashed without freezing, my entire desktop would have been on display there. So I'm happy it froze and didn't crash right away. So I can fix that, and now it's fixed. No, I didn't say fursona. I said fruit. Fruit, banana, apple, pear, grape. I mean, you could if you wanted, but that, I don't know, man. That's up to you. That's up to you guys. But yeah, get some questions going. Some of you guys have been asking questions. I do appreciate that. What am I doing? I'm trying to find the shortcut. The not so short shortcut. Yeah, you did ask questions. Like, I was expecting more, though. I was like, what? Come on. Is the shortcut not on my desktop? What's going on here? Okay, Paranoia is not showing up? Really? Well, I could fix that. Okay, we should have liftoff. Nope. All right. Uh-oh.
Okay, I'm back.
Cool. Game just got... Oh, you know what? Hold on. Alright, everybody sit tight. I think Windows reset my sound settings. No, maybe not.
I like your filter. Those like noise. Looks awesome.
Thanks. Alright. Oh, no, I didn't activate it. Bam! Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Okay. Should be good now. I don't know if the sound reset, so... Hey, people in chat, let me know if you can hear Mikhail, okay? I don't know why... Was that the right, like, pronunciation of that? Like, added the k, or no?
Yeah, in Russian it's Mikhail.
Mikhail.
Because we have this ha sound, like k, which sounds like k. Yeah, but yeah, usually it's like in English it's okay, something like that, but yeah, doesn't really matter. I'm fine. I like it as it is.
I can't turn the music down, but... Oh, no. I can't turn the music down, but the game is... Okay, let me...
So, in the chat, I see a question about content.
Oh, hold on, let me... Oh, how am I gonna do this? Okay, give me 1 sec. The Zash reset itself. Reset the volume. Okay, I'm just gonna mute the sound. Well... Okay. Sorry, I didn't expect the launcher to do this. Okay. Now we should be okay. Alright.
Okay. So, yeah, as I said, I see a question about cut content, and this content that wasn't in the original game, I tried to reuse it in the add-on. And what initially became a Paranoia 2. So I just copied all the stuff that I have to the guy that made Paranoia 2, and some of the stuff you can see there. So we tried to reuse everything. So nothing got lost. In this regard.
How you holding up, by the way? Are you still pretty tired?
Well, maybe a little bit, but yeah, I'm fine. So.
Okay, I don't know. You know what? I don't know if the music's always going to be loud like that, so let me turn up the game volume so we can balance that maybe. Let's see. Actually, wow. I think that actually fixed it entirely. Alright. Yeah, I noticed there was a scientist sound earlier. A scientist was screaming. I just heard a stop!
Really? Okay.
I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it was like an NPC that got damaged on accident or something, but yeah. That's bound to happen with Half-Life, though. Like, there's stuff like that. Oh. Okay, let me... Oh, hold on. Let me go ahead and refresh my questions here. So there we go.
Yeah, in this spot, I think when you enter the building and you follow like this assault team, you know, and I think usually it's really tricky to script stuff where you see, when you see the NPCs like fighting each other, because it's always like a circus, you know, it looks really ridiculous. But I think in this level, I tried to make everything happen like off screen, and so you can guess what happens later while exploring this scene, like a crime scene almost. So and that's why you could see a lot of like the bodies lying, like one body probably like even like exploded, and it was quite cool.
Oh no! Oh, this is where. Oh, this is where we ascend into madness. Oh boy. Man, I can't tell you. That scene where the zombie kicks down the door and comes in, it's burned into my memory. Like, the rain ambient is too loud, make your guess louder. It is? Could you say something real quick?
Yeah, sure.
That should be
really
good.
Quick.
Zash reset, but Discord didn't, so it should be okay. Okay, so before I head down there, I'm gonna see if there's anything else. Okay, here's kind of like a throwaway question, but too quiet? Yeah, I could turn it down. Yeah. Do a little more, I guess. So anyway, so here's kind of like a throwaway question. So, is there anything you wish you could go back and do differently? I know you said you don't want to return to the project, but is there anything in a perfect world? Is there anything you'd go back and change?
Yeah, that's the thing. I always look at my stuff, at my old stuff, and I always try to think what I can improve, like here and there. And I think for like 2007, I think I did like a good job back there. But nowadays, once I have more experience, I could see that some parts are not like properly working well, like here and there. And it basically mostly it's about like a navigation. You know, sometimes people are really confused while like navigating the space. So I just wanted to, if I would update something, I would try to make the space more, I don't know if there's like a word for this, I would like to improve navigation, you know, so that space is easier to not explore, but to navigate in. So, and for example, in the army sequence or like episodes, I have some like signs on the walls, right, with the names. And for example, if you're like an English-speaking person, you cannot read, right? And sometimes I've been watching a lot of streams. People are really like confused there because they cannot read things, and for them it's really hard to figure out where to go next. And I've noticed that some people are like really lost in the first episode. You know, when you have to visit like a warehouse, then this well, not hospital thing, and where you have to find like a shooting range. So this part wasn't like clear enough, and I would definitely like to improve that. I don't know, maybe someday I will come back to this. That's the first thing. And the second thing, I think in terms of like a gameplay, some parts are there is like too much of the back not back tracing, the back what was it like when you go back through the same location.
Oh, backtracking.
Backtracking, of course. Sorry.
No, it's alright.
I just lost this word. Yeah. Especially it's noticeable in the final chapter when you like going through like a labs, and sometimes you have to go like into the room and there's like a dead end and you have to go back, and I would fix that for sure. So, and that's the second thing. And the third thing, it would be probably the gameplay sequences with the monsters, because we have like so many different cool monsters, and I've been using them just like once or two times, probably once or twice, and that's a shame because I could use it more. For example, we had like a cool spider fight, and then there was like some monster like hanging from the ceiling. He was like walking on the ceiling. You will see it later if you don't remember. Oops.
Yeah.
You need a gas mask.
Oh.
So yeah, that's the thing. So nowadays I would probably approach to designing like some gameplay sequences based on the like a gameplay experience that I would like to do, not about like not like I did it in the past. I create like a scenery and then I try to put like some gameplay into this. I would do it the other way around. So I would probably make the environment that supports the gameplay and that works better with AI, stuff like that. Oh yeah, speaking of AI and this zombie part where you first you said you still remember it. It's like about like a door.
Yeah.
And the zombie is like when the first zombie comes out and like it comes alive. And I think you can easily exploit the AI there. You can simply jump on the desk, for example, and you can hit like a shoot zombie back there. So that's the problem for designer, because if you make the game that allows player to exploit, then it's like a broken game. So, and I would like to fix that. So that the space doesn't make you use those exploits. So that's another thing that would be cool to fix. So, but in terms of like an atmosphere and the pacing, I think that's a good thing that was done well. And especially here, you can see this crane, right, on the background.
Beautiful
and
placement.
The same crane you could see in the beginning of the level, and I like the fact that you see the landmark somewhere, like on the horizon, and you can go through, and you have this like adventure, from your starting point to the landmark. And I think that's what I tried to do with this crane. So you see first it's on the horizon, and then you comes closer, and you have this feeling that you're actually exploring the same space. And yeah,
that's
you can,
awesome.
Create like a mind map, so you have your space in your head, and it feels like real. So, and you have this feeling of the progression, of the journey, and it's all done with this like a small trick of using the landmarks on the horizon. So that's the thing.
All right. So I had a question in chat from Reborn. He said, "Okay, so Minecraft. I'm sure you know what that is, yeah."
Yeah, of course.
All right.
Yep.
You made that one too, right?
What? Minecraft?
Yeah, you made that one too, right?
No. What do you mean?
I was kidding. But so his question is, Minecraft grass footsteps. So he's wondering what stock library you guys used. for the footsteps? Do you still
Good
remember?
question. I think we took a lot of sounds from the other games, from the, like really old classics. For example, we took a lot of sounds from Max Payne, original Max Payne, and I think from some sounds were taken from the betas, from the Stalker. You know, the Stalker game. I think they released, or they had like some betas leaked, and I've been using some sounds from there as well. And I think those sounds came from some stock sounds. So I cannot answer which which particular stock was that, but yeah, I can tell that we used a lot of sounds from the other games. And one of those games probably was like a Mafia, the original Mafia, I think. I think also borrowing stuff sounds from there.
So basically taking a lot of good sounds from really, really good
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, exactly. It's like usually when I play the game, especially back then, I also tried to get through like content that you can find in this game, and by content I mean you can look into the resources, like game resources. And I think back then the websites with the with some software that allows you to look into like archives of the game or like game resources. I think back then it was quite popular, and I think I've been using a lot of those like websites and the software that I got from there to basically extract resources from the other games. And I've been just collecting. I'm like a collector, you know. I'm going through the game. If I think the sounds are good, then I just copy them, and so later I can use it in my game. Of course, as like a free-to-play project.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's why you might find a lot of sounds that are familiar to you. So,
Yeah, and I'm a huge collector of stock sounds and textures and stuff. I know Reborn in my chat is too, Deep Snow. So we really do appreciate you answering that question, because I'm sure that's something that maybe nobody thinks to ask, but I'm glad we did. Like, it's such a cool little bit of information. It's nice to have.
yeah, but I would say it's like 90% of the textures, they all like custom, so I did most of them. And sometimes you can still find like some resources from the other games, but they're like really I think they blend really well with what we have. For example, if you look down in this elevator, you could see the texture on the floor, and I think those texture was a modified texture from Doom 3, I think even.
Wow.
So I think Doom 3 was also quite popular back then. I think it was 2004 or something, and I think I also went through the resources of this game. So it's not like one-to-one texture. I just just took it and modified it. So.
Oh, I think I just realized I take the other elevator, right? Yeah, that's right. Okay. You know, are you okay, since a lot of these textures you modified or took yourself, are you okay with other mappers and modders using them in their projects?
Yeah, sure. I'm perfectly fine with that. And usually when someone writes me an email, it's like, may I use your textures, or may I do like a remake of your level or whatever? May I do the mod for your mods?
Yeah.
I'm always fine, as long as they reference the original, so they have like a link to maybe like a games profile or whatever, like original website. So I'm fine with that, because it's like a free-to-play stuff, and it's a hobby. It's done for fun, so I don't mind.
That's cool.
And actually, if you look at the ModDB page, you can find there even like a Sega Dreamcast port, and this one was done by like one of the fans of the mod. So I didn't ask for this, and one day I think the guy approached me and he asked me if it would be fine if we tried to port the game to the Dreamcast. Of course, I wasn't like against it. I was actually happy. So Yeah, and I'm glad what he did. I think he did a good. Yeah, I even played it on Dreamcast, like a Sega Dreamcast. Of course, they cut a lot of things. For example, the resolution, like a scale for some textures were lowered and some levels were simplified, but it's playable on the Dreamcast. So I'm 100% fine if someone can modify my work, so I'm a bit interested. Yeah.
He said to use a grenade, but I'm just gonna go right in. Forget the grenade. I got a gun. Oh, shoot, I almost fell off there. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and on the Dreamcast, the controls are really horrible. That really shows how the modern gamepads are much more like superior compared to the
Oh,
old gamepads.
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
This one stick controller is a nightmare. I like when you have like two sticks
Oh, yeah.
to control your movement and the camera as well.
Let's see.
I think you have to follow the guy.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah. Because he breaks the ventilation.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Lead, and you have to go there. Yeah, see, the stuff like this usually it's on designer, so
That was probably my fault, though. I was paying attention, but not as much
I
as I
think
should.
it's always like designer fault because I could have make this the whole sequence more better, like more visible, or I could lock you in the space. Let's say I could close the door, and then you don't have to do this back again. This word. Yeah, you don't have to go back again and get confused.
Let's see. Oh, that's right. You have to open the gate. So I just
like
wanted to
Sam-
answer.
Sam-
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's the Sam Fisher over there. You know, the Splinter Cell. I think. Yeah, on this underground base, you could sometimes see those like a secret agents or whatever, like Spec Ops soldiers, and it's actually in the story. So that the whole thing was started by some foreign, like a Spec Ops, you know. So they hired the terrorists to do the whole this thing, and to create this noise, and so they could like steal some stuff from the labs. So that's the basic like a story thing. Yeah.
Okay, wait. Who did the scream when you fall? Was that you?
Explain. Sorry, what? The screen.
Yeah, when you fall.
No, I think it's from the other game, probably from Max Payne or something.
I would just imagine like when you were making the mod, you just screamed into your microphone and recorded it. I mean, hey, it works. It works, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I've been talking about. You know, a lot of backtracking. Yeah. So now you have to go into back into the ventilation, so you can fall, and stuff like this doesn't really feel like a natural. So I could probably do it better.
I always thought this part was really cool, especially like the APC that's on the edge of the cliff. That's something that I've never forgotten. Like that's so nice.
Yeah, and I think if you go back and look into the gates, there's like a gates back there. You could see like a body under the pile of dirt, but yeah.
Let's see.
I think you're too much. You're too far away. Yeah, I mean, I like this spot. I think this spot really cool.
Oh, I've never seen that before. That is cool. The body.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I have a lot of small details like here and there.
Wow. All right, before we move any further, let me just kind of catch up in chat. Let's see. Let's see if we have any new questions here. I did see a couple people mention questions we've had answered. So Caleb wanted to know why I use the Half-Life 1 engine. Well, he was familiar with Counter-Strike, there was a background in Counter-Strike, so moving to Goldsrc, I guess staying in Goldsrc just felt natural, I guess. Is that a pretty good description?
Yeah, exactly. And I think back then the source was the new source, not Goldsrc. The source tools were quite heavy for the computers, and I think my computer wasn't that awesome back then, and it was like really pain to work with the source engine, like the new source. I mean Half-Life 2. And that's why, and again, it's like a pipeline for creating assets, much more complicated. And I thought staying on the Half-Life 1 engine is always good. I mean, and I think it kind of works.
And let's see, there was another one by Deep Snow or Reborn. It was just kind of asking again, like, how much involvement did you have in Paranoia 2? And that was basically, you did a lot of the writing for the story. I forget, did you say that you did maps or no?
I did like the first few maps, but of course he later reworked it heavily. But as I said, I started it as like a add-on for the original Paranoia, but then I kind of stopped, and I gave all those materials to the guy, and he continued like working on the project. So yeah. But as I said, I've been involved into playtesting, and I've been doing some feedback for him. So that's the thing. Yeah.
I think I'm lost again. Oh no, wait. Yeah, you gotta go underneath. That's right.
Yeah.
I think the last time I played this was when I recorded it on my channel. I didn't even tell you before we started streaming. So this whole month I've been going back and I've been going back and streaming games that I recorded on my channel back in 2011 and 12. So I played Paranoia on my channel in like 2011 or 2012. So I'm kind of going back and replaying it, but of course, you know, with different setup and obviously, you know, with dev commentary, which so far, I gotta tell you, it's been a lot of fun. And this is stuff that you really don't find out in an email. Like, I could email you and say, like, okay, what about this and this and this, and you could explain it. But having you here talking about it means that you can go into so much more detail. And we were talking about this. Yeah, exactly. So I'm really happy. This is actually just a really cool experience so far. And again, like, I'm not like buttering anybody up, but this is one of my favorite Half-Life mods. Like, this really stuck with me. So tonight's basically like the dream. So I'm having a lot of fun so far.
I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, that's awesome. And sometimes you can see the rats on the ground, and those rats are actually the cockroach from the Half-Life. We just replaced the mesh.
Now, wasn't there a rat NPC in Half-Life, or is that? I've seen the rat in different places, so different mods.
I'm not sure about like the first Half-Life. Maybe it was like heavily scripted, but they for sure they had some cockroaches, you know, those like insects.
Yeah.
And AI for them was quite superior, you know, back then. So I think they were afraid of like a light and stuff like that. I think you can find some videos on YouTube where with the breakdown of AI for those like insects. And I think we just reused the same like archetype, same entity, and we just swapped the mesh and swapped the sound. And now you can actually step on the rats and you can kill them. It's actually quite fun. Sometimes you can accidentally step on them and it's like a small jump scare.
Okay, you know how I said the zombie breaking the door is the most iconic thing? No, not at all. You know what the most iconic thing for me is about the mod, and I think you might agree? When you go into that big round room and you have all the graffiti on the wall. Oh, right here actually. Oh.
Yeah. That's actually a real place, and with those graffitis. And in my town, we had a planetarium. You know, I don't know if it's called the same in English, but planetarium. The place where you look at this fake, like a sky thing, and you have like a huge, like a telescope thing. And in terms of architecture, it's like a round building, right, with a dome on top. And in this building you can see the same like graffiti and the same like a circular room, and that's where I took a lot of like photos, and I actually modified them a bit so it looks like old like murals. So it's actually a real thing.
I don't know how you managed to do it, but I mean, these look so well together. Like, they don't look like they're separate images. Like, the way you match them up is almost perfect.
Because that's how it is in like a real life. Maybe I could send you pictures, but it's exactly the same. It's like a big like a panorama, like a circular, like 360 thing. So yeah, it's a real thing. I didn't. It's not like a made-up thing. So that's why you could see like some faces and some clothes, like here and there, because it's like a planetarium thing. It's like a place for kids where they could have fun. And I turned it into like some horror.
Yeah, Reborn said, and I agree that like this builds up. When I first played Paranoia, and I stepped into this room and I saw the red light and I heard that door sound, I was terrified. I was actually like afraid to move on. It's terrifying. So it's excellent how you did this segment.
You know, sometimes I have some like goosebumps. You know, when I listen to I think it's due to the music, to the sounds, because sometimes you can hear some like mumbling on the background, which is like reversed, and it feels like so unnatural, so like scary sometimes. And of course, it's like a tension because you can hear some like knocking or whatever, like a beating on the background, and it gets like more intense, and nothing happens. Of course, you have this tension, and you see those monsters like on the ground.
Oh yeah.
And you don't really expect that they will like wake up. So
you know, Reborn was asking where the sound came from, like the door sound.
You mean beating?
Yeah. Do you remember where that's from?
It's hard to tell. I cannot say. For sure. No, probably not. Maybe Doom 3, maybe, or I don't know. It's been a while.
Oh, especially when you walk up to the body on the ground with like the ribs, and you heard that reversed voice you said. Oh, this part was so terrifying. I'm getting goosebumps right now. Like, it's, oh my god, this is so well done. And here we go, here's the door.
Yeah, I think the original idea was to make the guy that actually explores this area before you, and he describes what he sees, right? And later you just follow the steps, and your imagination basically runs wild. You can see the confirmation, and you know that something happened to this guy, and that just helps to create the tension even more. And you see the guy died, and no one is there. So yeah, it's about like directing the experience, and I think that was done good.
I noticed a lot of scary mods in games. They just like show you. You mentioned imagination on that. Like, most games just show you the scary element and that's it. You know, if you really, really want to scare your player, you have to let their minds do some of the work. You know, because then at that point you can't even develop something like that. Like, the brain is so complex that once the mind is going on something, it won't stop. And that just terrifies the player even more. So I like that you did that here. Exactly,
it's like reading a book. So your mind is your like the most scary thing. He's not following you. That's what I said before. So you can easily exploit those zombies. Just jump on the desk or whatever, on the table, and you will see that they won't harm you. And that's a bit sad. I know
see
in
if I can get him to
Half-Life
do
2 they did it better, so the zombie can throw stuff at you. And actually here, I think why the zombies are working well in this space, because the space is like so tight and they can easily like corner you, and I think that's a good thing.
Oh, I just noticed. I just noticed these are using Half-Life 2 animations.
Yeah,
But it looks so
yes.
good though. Like it's faster and this is wow.
I mean, we could do the custom animations, but it's like a free-to-play project, so why not to use what we have already?
I think it works pretty well actually. Like I don't want to see, custom animations. Like these animations are just work so well. They're so iconic.
Yeah, it works.
Also love how there's like different versions, like a mask without the bottom part, the helmet, the face that's like eaten away.
Yeah, thanks for
Works
the
very
help
well.
with it. Yeah, this part is quite tough in terms of like the gameplay, and I think if you play it on hard difficulty, you don't even have that much bullets, or you have to use the knife, and it kind of feels boring that you have to like stab zombie so many times, and that's what I would probably fix as well if I would return to this mod,
Oh, I haven't even been looking at chat. Reborn says that the metal soundtrack ruins the atmosphere, but I kind of like it, especially with that really whiny guitar sound. It's not whiny, but it's like that really high-pitched guitar note. I think it works really well for the instance. Let's see.
Well, some people just expect something, and if it's different, then of course it feels out of place, so it feels different. So it's like it's like in these fantasy games you expect something like more epic, like a movie, like a Lord of the Ring score or something like that.
Yeah.
Or in the horror game you would probably expect something more like a creepy something. Again, it's like more like a horror movie, and here it's more like an action. So I would say this game is more action rather than horror. But yeah, that's why we chose this music. I think it fits, but of course, it's not for everyone. And I mean, the music choice, of course.
Oh,
And I
did
agree
we
with
miss your
Mike's
character?
Hmm?
Did we miss your character? You said you voiced someone. Was it October?
Yes, I think that is my voice, because I'm looking at the screen. I'm not like hearing the audio from the game. But yeah, could be.
Do you remember who voices this character? Because he is one of my favorite characters. Like, he's the guy who's with you down in hell,
Yeah, I think that's the same like Kulak character. Yeah, that's the same guy who did the voice, and I kind of like it too. So I think he has a nice voice. Fits well. Yeah, and again, it's like you can tell that it's like you had such a tense of the game where you have like some like a tense section, then you had like a fight with the zombies, and now it's again like a calm exploration sequence where you go and you just relax after this fight. So,
Oh yeah, the captured terrorist. That's cool.
yeah, I wouldn't say that the story is like amazing and like unique, but I think it works for the mod like this.
Yeah, I mean, you think of Half-Life. Half-Life doesn't have a story at all. I mean, you're basically just a guy who's escaping. So I think if you have really good music, really good level design, really good AI and combat, I don't even think you really need a story all the time. I think you can make up for that, and this is definitely making up for that. But this has a story, so I think it definitely works. Oh yeah, all the detailing and all that is so nice.
So for the voiceovers for the terrorist guy, I think it was someone did like a fake accent, of course. Yeah, and this lab is quite cool. I think one day, I think my sister, she was in a hospital one day, and I think she was there for like, I don't know, a few days, and I've been visiting her, and of course with my awesome digital camera, like 1 megapixel high-tech stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, back then, and I took a lot of pictures in the hospital itself, so that's why you could see that the labs sometimes somehow they feel quite like real, you know, because I took a lot of textures there, and I tried to make the space that looks believable, so that's why yeah, you can tell that labs are quite done in a way that it looks like a real architecture, basically.
Yeah.
Cool.
You know, I'm gonna try something. I should have tried this a long time. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm going to try screen sharing, because this whole time you've been watching the stream, I assume, silently, right? So maybe this would be a little better?
Yes. No, I don't have any delays.
Alright, hopefully. I'm sorry, I should have thought of that an hour ago, but I didn't know if it was gonna kill my internet or not. So yeah, we'll give it a try. I don't know if this will make it like better for you to like look at at least, so there's not, you know, you'll hear the gameplay and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. I see the labs and stuff. So yeah, the scene that you the spot where you saw the clones in the lab. This scene was inspired by the Universe Soldier, you know, the movie Universe Soldier with Jean-Claude Van Damme. So when they had like soldiers in the truck and they were like sitting, and I think there was like a recreational area for them or something like that, and I thought would be cool to do the same thing. So that's how we did those soldiers sitting in the chair over there.
Oh, this model is so cool. It's too bad we never see this as an enemy.
Yeah. I think that's this enemy was got cut. and this girl, this doctor or whatever, that's actually a friend of mine. So we work together on some like, projects, and I asked her to like to take like a few pictures, you know, for the game, and yeah, she was fine with it. And later when she saw herself, you know, on the screen, she was like cracking up. So,
oh yeah.
really funny. Yeah.
Oh man, I would too. Like, oh jeez. You know, you brought up a really good point, and I've talked about this before, but I will always prefer real faces instead of computer generated. There's just something about how a real face looks on a model that beats anything you could come up with by the computer.
Yeah,
it just looks so much more lifelike. I mean, it's a real face, so of course. The only problem is it's hard to find real faces, but if I was ever going to make a game, like a professional game, I would try and use real, actual faces. Instead of,
that's why I think Half-Life 2 characters, they are like really awesome, because they used like a real likeness from the real people, right?
Yeah. Hell, I mean, I don't know if you know about like Male 07, but in the Source community, in the Half-Life 2 community, like Male 07 is basically a legend. Like, everybody knows who he is, and that's all because of his face. It's crazy how that stuff works.
Okay.
How like someone's face can become popular on the internet, you know?
Yeah, unfortunately I'm not familiar with it, but yeah. Yeah. And that's it. Here's again, it's like the same thing. I'm reusing the same space, and before that it used to be like a count space that you can like, explore, and you can get familiar with the space, and later you can fight in the same space again, because you know the location, right?
Oh shoot!
And what I like is that like those like the firefights through the windows.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's always cool.
It's not even scripted. Like, it's just something that happens naturally, which means it'll happen different, you know, for every player, which is always cool. Oh, yep, Robot Eye. Is that based on anything? Is that based on, like, Star Trek, if you watch that, or?
I don't remember, to be honest. I think the guy, it wasn't done by me, of course. I think someone else. Maybe it could be that it is based on this Universal Soldier movie. You know, what they also had some headsets.
Oh, that's
if
right.
you remember that? So we just tried to make it more like futuristic and everything.
We have a question in the chat. Who does the facility announcer voice saying to evacuate? This female voice.
So I think we took this voice from the Max Payne, from the Russian localization, and it was done by some like a famous actress, I think. I'm sure she is not aware of this.
She'd be proud.
Yeah. I think it fits well. Yeah.
Okay, this is more of a personal question from me. I've always been curious. Is there a reason why these guys look so meaty? Are these, like, clones that are rotting, or are they, like...
They're just underdeveloped, so, you know, or not well, they're not, like, yet ready. Is it, like, the right word? Underdeveloped? So
they were taken out too early?
Yeah. That's exactly that's exactly the thing. I think the idea was that this explosion wakes up the creature in the abandoned bed, and this creature starts to wake up like everyone else. You know, those clones, because they're easy to control. You know, because they're like still almost like a baby, babies. You know, in terms of like a mindset. And those other monsters, so it's like more like a puppeteer thing, so it controls everyone, and you have to find this creature and kill it. So
you know, I forget. Do you know when Fear came out? Because Fear has the same concept, but did you technically do that first? The first Fear game?
To be honest, but I played the Fear game, but I'm not sure if I was like inspired by that. As I said, for me the Resident Evil thing was always the big inspiration, and the Call of Duty stuff in terms of those grants, like battles, like the firefights, the scripted events, those Call of Duty, and I just tried to make it look more like fun and more better looking than in like original Condition Zero.
Yeah.
I think it works well. So.
But
again, it's like
gunshots are too loud. Turn it down.
Yeah. Okay.
Music doesn't help either. Yeah, I don't know what happened when Zash crashed earlier. By the way, I just want to... Oh, I quick saved when I died. No, I didn't. So I want to say that Zash is actually running okay. Like, I've had one crash and that's it. Like, no... I mean, the truck was messed up, but, I mean, that's nothing, you know. But the skybox works, like, everything works, so... It's been working okay so far. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I'm also quite happy. Because I think... the original game was done as like a mod for original Half-Life, right? And it was done before Windows 7 and Windows Vista with a new like a OS that works with the processors with the multiple cores, and this caused a lot of like bugs later and the crashes. So it works. The game works well, and the mod works well on the Vista, or not Vista, on XP, but on the other newer systems, I think it crashes a lot due to this multi-threading thing. And and that's why if you play the original mod, like original Half-Life, you will get some crashes eventually. And yeah, I'm also surprised that it doesn't crash for this Zash thing.
I'm seeing a lot of people that are saying that, oh no! Oh, he's dead. Crud. That's okay. That's the magic of video games.
In the original 1.0 version, we had immortal NPCs, but it felt just unnatural, you know, so they could just go and they could kill everyone, and it just felt wrong. That's why we decided with the newer versions to give this failure condition, so that they could also kill your teammates.
Plus, you'll care for them, you know. If they're immortal, you're going to be like, okay, I don't care about this character. But if they can die, it's like, wait, I don't want them to die. You know, I want to try and save them.
Yeah. But your teammates are like really, really fat, I would say. It's like in health. So they have like a 1000 HP or something. So if they die, they really die because someone like, shot them a lot. Yeah, it's a tough sequence.
Oh, anyway, so I was seeing in chat that there's some people, actually I'd say like a majority of people who love the first game, including myself, but they're not a big fan of the second one. I don't know if people in chat want to kind of touch up on like what was different, where it wasn't the same, or...
So, original game was done mostly like by myself. Of course, I had guys helping me out with the content, you know, such as like models, music, sounds, everything. But in terms of like building the levels, like storytelling, like writing dialogues, and like building everything, and that was me, right? And for the second game, of course, we had another guy, and he did everything himself, and he did it like his way. So it's not what I was like directing everything, you know. That's why it feels different in terms of gameplay and in terms of like the way how the levels are built. So you can see the difference. So I mean, I wasn't really involved into development. I was just playtesting, you know, and doing some feedback, and not every my feedback was like implemented. So you know what I mean? It's like he done it his way, and that's why the second game feels different. So because it was directed by the other guy, so that's the thing.
Yeah,
and we all have a different experience, of course, and he has a different experience as well. So, and you can see it in like design decisions. So that's why sometimes some sequences in second Paranoia could be boring or directed in a different way. So
you know, it's funny you mentioned that, because we see that in movies sometimes. I know that like you'll have a classic movie, say a movie from the 80s, and it does very well, and they'll try to bring it back in modern times, and they won't bring the director back who like directed the movie, but they'll bring him back for tips and stuff. So it happens a lot in movies, surprisingly. So I could see it happening in a game too, especially with an old game and someone trying to make a newer version of that game.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happens. It's like, it's just you have the original vision, right, of the project, and then when someone else joins, of course, he does it differently, and you earn some experience while like working on the projects. You know why some decisions are like good and why some of them are bad, and the new person usually goes through all this again, you know.
Yes.
He makes mistakes, and and that's the thing. And I can tell for sure that the versions of Paranoia 2 that I played like before, they were much worse, you know, and they got much better after the playtests and after like creating like a new or like implementing feedback. So, but not everything is perfect, of course. So, but I'm fine with it. I mean, it's
I had fun with it. I did. Yeah.
Yeah. At least people have something new, something that they want, maybe like some kind of like a sequel, and even if it's not like exact like same quality as the original, it's still a good experience, and it's a free-to-play game, right? So why not? Yeah.
Oh,
you can hear some screams.
oh
And I
yeah.
think this scream was taken from Max Payne. I think when you burn the guy down with a Molotov like cocktail, you can hear.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought
That
this was
original.
the Half-Life 2 sound effect. You know, like
No.
the yabba my icing. But I thought it was
Yeah.
sped up.
No. It's from Max Payne, and I wanted to do it in a way that you just like want to shoot this guy because he's like behind the fence, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the thing.
Oh, hey, Suchin. Hey, I remember the name. I remember how to say your name right. Hey, man. Really? So I played. Have you ever played Half Pain or heard of Half Pain? It's like a Half-Life mod. Half Pain and Half-Life mixed.
It's hard to tell. Maybe I played it like ages ago. I don't remember, to be honest.
Oh, it was just another mod I played with the developer. So that's cool that
Played
like
like a
everybody have
halfway.
done streams with us here.
Yeah.
Oh no, I lost him.
By the way, there is another Russian mod which is like really popular, but it's more like a comedy, I think. I don't know if you know it. It's called Spetsnaz 4. Do you know this? It's like Spetsnaz, like that.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll give you a link. So, but this mod is really short. It's also like 1 hour or something like that, and it's really hilarious. It has
Is it on
lots of jokes.
ModDB or is it?
Yes, it is on ModDB. I can give you a link later. It's also one of the cool like Russian mods that you might like to play at some point.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think it's also translated to English.
Wait, you said they did or didn't? Translated.
Sorry, what? No, he did. You can. I think he also has subtitles there.
Oh hell yeah!
It is translated. You can definitely play it.
Hell, I'd play it even without translations. Like that's. I wouldn't understand the jokes, but it would still be pretty funny, I think. Oh, Martin. So we talked about the Dreamcast port a little bit earlier. Did you just want to kind of recap what you said about what you thought about it?
Yes, I think the controls are a bit. So they're not that like comfortable if you play it on PC, right? On the Dreamcast. So that's probably the biggest like minus of this port, the controls. But it's not like it's not our fault. Basically, it's not the fault of the guy who ported it. It's due to this fact that the whole system, the Dreamcast and the controller is a bit outdated. So and it's not simply designed for the games like first-person shooters, right? Because you simply have one stick, and yeah, that's the one thing that I don't really like about this port is the controls. But it's not about like a port; it's about the Dreamcast itself.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one, of course, the Dreamcast has limitation, like a technical limitations, right? And the graphic was like the whole visuals, the levels. Some levels were cut. Some parts of the levels were cut. So if you want to get like a full experience, I think it would be much better if you play the game on PC. But yeah, I think as a project, if you have Dreamcast and if you would like to play the game try it on Dreamcast, I think it's a cool thing to do. So why not? So I mean, I like it, but what I don't like it is the controls. But, yeah, I hope I explained it.
No, yeah, absolutely.
It's hard to tell, yeah. So.
Oh yeah, this is. Oh man, there's so many iconic moments in this game. It's really hard to choose a favorite. Like I already have my favorite, but I'm sure like everybody has their own favorite moment in this. Oh, yep, this guy, yeah. Oh, I love it. dude
Yeah,
is
so
all
for the-
messed up.
for the
Okay, so
char-
what's the
for the
story
character-
behind this?
Yeah, for the character designs, some of them were designed by me, and some of them were designed by the guy who did the models. So, yeah.
I mean, is there a reason why they're all mutated? Is there some kind of explanation?
I think the idea is like the story behind all this thing is that there was like a secret base, like underground Black Mesa thing under the surface of the ground of the earth, and then there's something happens that the virus got out or something like that. This is a classic Resident Evil thing, and then they sealed the whole lab. That's why you could see those like monsters still. They're like still there and they're still alive because they're like mutated and so on. And the whole area was like sealed and like preserved in the state as it used to be like ages ago. And when this explosion happens, as I explained before, this psychic creature wakes up, and that's how everything like starts. So it's a bit hard to explain, but yeah, you should play it to experience, the story. Because if you follow the dialogues and the text notes like here and there, you can get the story.
Well, what I'm curious is, I get clones, well, being taken out too early or being done, but why do some have like 4 arms and like 5 legs, and is there a reason for why they're like that? Were they like
I think it was
experimenting on
like-
people, or?
It's more like a mutations. So let's say it was like a lab there, and they did some like virus testing or whatever, like a classic thing, and that's why there are like so many mutants here and there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. How's the screen share, by the way? Is the quality okay?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
I should
I
do
think,
this more often because I thought it would kill my stream, but it's going good.
Yeah.
No
It's-
lag
it's
or
nice.
anything.
fine.
Oh yes.
I think I played the original Half-Life in like such a small resolution because I had like such a shitty computer back then. So this one looks gorgeous compared to my old stuff. Yes.
You know what's crazy? You were talking about how the Source engine was too powerful to run, but now like any computer can run Source. So it's like it's funny how technology advances like that. I mean, I'm sure people couldn't run Paranoia, but here we are in 2021, and I'm sure you could run this on like a phone or something. I mean, that's how crazy technology has gotten.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. For example, I think my first PC, was it 98 or something? I got my first PC and I had probably like 8 gig RAM, and I had like 1 megabyte of video memory, for my graphic card. So it was like super shitty. Yeah. But I enjoyed the Half-Life like original game, even if it looked not that awesome. I think the game itself is great. So I think it's not about the graphics. The good games they don't really age that much.
No, you're right.
It's about the experience that you get.
Oh, hey, here's like a totally good question that's not even... Wow. How did you get into video games?
I think I explained it like earlier. I started with the maps for Counter-Strike. Then I created like my portfolio. Well, not portfolio. It's like a website where you share stuff, right? Like your work. And one day, I think it was like 2004 or 2005, one guy contacted me and he asked me if I'm like free for work. Yeah, that's how I got into like a gaming industry. So after like some interview process, some tests, I got my first job. I was purely luck, Sometimes people search for jobs, and it takes like so much time, and sometimes it's hard to get. But I was just lucky enough to get the job. So the guy came to me. It wasn't like me who was like chasing the job. That was cool. And thanks to my modding experience. Yeah.
So, would you say that Counter-Strike was like your first video game, or?
Well, the Half-Life was my first experience with the modding stuff. You know, when creating something for like a 3D environments that are actually like playable experiences. Of course, before that, I tried to do some levels for like original StarCraft or like Warcraft 2. You know, like really old stuff, like Age of Empires. You know, like really old games, but they are not about like a 3D space, right? Usually you just throw some stuff into the level and it works. But with the Half-Life, you kind of have this amazing sense of like a real space. You can create, like, especially with the photo textures, you can create like a pretty much photorealistic, of course, not in the modern meaning space, and you can you have such a powerful tools as like scripting tools, and you can manipulate like NPCs, and you can like create like a cool stuff, and you can control the music, everything. So the tools for the first Half-Life, they were like just mind-blowing, you know. It was like amazing stuff to work with, and yeah, that's how I started. I was just surprised, and my first like proper work was done with the Counter-Strike levels. Of course, they were not official; they were like custom levels, but that's when I started. And I still do level design even now. So, yeah.
You know, I noticed someone mentioned this earlier, but I forget who it was, but someone said the gas mask was like barely used. I just realized that we used it like twice in the whole game.
Yeah, I think if we had like 10 level designers, we might probably make a lot of levels that supports that can support like all mechanics. You know, we could maybe do like the level dedicated to the gas mask, or the level dedicated to, I don't know, to this like a machine gun or whatever, to some other features. But as I said, I've been working on this alone, and I always think that it's always good to create like something small that is like nice and memorable and like full of cool stuff, rather than creating like a 5 or like 10 hours game that is just boring. So, and that reuses the concept or like the content through the whole game, and it's just like shallow, you know. It's not like a full experience. So that's why I think short but fun is short but impressive and fun is always good than long and boring. Because I have a feeling that the modern games they just fall into this trap, you know, when you have to create this like 60 hours game, but you have content only for like 15 hours, you know. And I can feel it when I play the games, that it would be it could be like a much better game if it would be just like 10-15 hour game. You know, I'm talking about like a modern stuff. Yeah. That's why I think less is more. So yeah.
Hell, there's even, I keep mentioning other mods, but it's just a common trend, you know. Development like this, you really don't see too much in depth. And again, like, there's other mods where they think that you need to make the mod as long as possible. They basically look at the mod like a number. Okay, this mod is 5 hours. This mod is 10 hours. Well, the 10-hour mod is going to be better, right? Well, like you said, you know, shorter can sometimes mean better. I mean, you could have like a 30-hour mod, 30 hours, and in it you're just walking from room to room or building to building. Or you could have like a 5-hour mod that is so jam-packed with content and stuff to do that you'll remember the one that is, you know, has more in it versus the one that's just artificially extended.
Exactly, yes. And I see it more as like a movie experience, you know, that you can go through. You don't need that much time. You probably would need like 2 hours, you know, to go through the mod, right? If you start like exploring everything. And yeah, I'd rather replay the same game if I like it, rather than like get like bored with it.
Oh shoot, they shoot grenades, I forgot about that. Okay, here's a question. What is your favorite Half-Life 1 or Half-Life 2 mod? No, you can't say Paranoia. Besides that though, like, what's your favorite?
That's a good question. I like the Cry of Fear mode, which is quite decent. I think it has like a cool quality, and in terms of length, it's I think it's like twice bigger than Paranoia. I think that's a cool mod, and the guy that made this game is really awesome. I think he knows what he's doing. That's the first mod I would mention probably, and yeah, what else? I don't know. I like this Spectacle mode, which I mentioned before. It's like another Russian mod, which is like a pure comedy mod, but it's fun. It's a cool thing. But from the other mods, yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, I like original Counter-Strike, not like a multiplayer stuff. It's always fun.
Do you still play stuff like that? Play Counter-Strike and all that still?
Not anymore, but yeah, I used to spend a lot of time just playing original Counter-Strike, and then Counter-Strike Source, and then CS:GO. Now I usually play like a modern games, of course.
Yeah.
Not just for fun, but also to get like an understanding how they are done, so just for like for evaluation also. Yeah, it's hard to tell, but I like the original Opposing Force add-on for Half-Life. I think this one was really amazing experience. No, the one where you play Shepard.
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool. And the Blue Shift wasn't that fun.
Ah, that's my favorite one.
Really? Okay.
I like Opposing Force, but I love the idea that you're just a guard that's just like thrown into this mess, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
both
yeah,
are
I like the concept. I like it's just about I don't really remember that much like a gameplay stuff comparing to Opposing Force. In Opposing Force, you probably like visit the same spots, and you have much more like fights there. But, yeah,
that's right.
As I said,
the end.
it's like a personal thing. Some people might like it. Some people
Oh yeah.
consider the other stuff better. So. Yeah, this final helicopter fight is tough. Right?
Let's see. I think there's an RPG in here somewhere. Oh yeah, there it is. Nice. This thing is so much fun to use. Except when I miss.
Yeah, and for RPG we disabled this auto-aiming thing, like a laser.
Yeah, like a real RPG
helper.
would, you know?
Yeah. Because I think if you use this original Half-Life RPG, it's way too easy to hit the helicopter.
Let's see. Yeah, I try, if I'm gonna play like a really old mod, especially one that I really like, I try to get in contact with developers and stuff. The problem is, like, a lot of people aren't even there anymore. A lot of people never come back to the community again. I was so happy when I was able to contact you, because it's been so long that I thought like you'd just be completely gone, you know? Like, do you still kind of not communicate, but do you still kind of participate with mods and community stuff, or?
Not really, but I definitely check the ModDDB page from time to time, just to answer some questions and to see how it's doing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So, but as I said, it's like I'm doing this like a full time, you know, like making games, and it's not. It's I don't have that much time for this stuff as a hobby, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit sad, but yeah, I still enjoy doing the games.
You know, it was actually a really, really good idea to get a job in game design, because I know nobody saw this virus coming. So a lot of people lost their jobs because of the nature of the job. But I mean, as a game designer, you can work from home, and even if you go into an office, you oh yeah, the ending. Even if you go into an office, I mean, you're just sitting at a computer, you're designing like levels and graphics and models and everything. So it's really a future-proof job.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for the games are actually doing better during this.
Oh yeah,
so,
a lot of people have extra time.
Actually quite fine with working from home. I don't have to spend much time like commuting, to work.
Oh yeah, I don't know how it is over there in Germany, but I know in the U.S., like I'm in California, and gas is so expensive. So not having to spend your entire like paycheck on gas that's always nice.
Yeah. I mean, in Germany it's really good with like a public transport, and I live in like 15 minutes from with like a train ride from the office. So I don't have to like spend that much time, but usually it's like half an hour a day you have to spend like commuting to work. And when you work from the office or from home, of course, you can use this time to something else. For example, you can sleep more. And
I'm always down for that.
Yeah. So it's just less stressful to work from home. But of course, I miss some like real
interaction,
meetings, with people. And nowadays it's mostly about like communicating through those like how to call it, like a Skype and stuff. So
yeah.
And it's kind of sad. But let's hope in a few years we'll come back to normal.
I hope so. I really do. I really miss normal.
Yeah. And are you streaming on only the old games, or are you up for stream like a new games as well?
I'm always down for new stuff.
Okay.
I stream old stuff because it's easy. It's easier. But yeah, I'm down for new games.
Are you playing like a multiplayer games? Like a modern stuff? Because the last game that I worked on is a multiplayer game, and it's called Hunt Showdown. Do you know? Have you heard?
You
of it?
worked on that?
Yes, I did the levels for this game.
Wow!
It is done by a German developer, and that's the company I'm working for. So if you want, we could play this game together and have some fun.
I don't even think let me see. I gotta look that up now. Well, I very quickly.
It's basically a multiplayer game where you play as a hunter that hunts like monsters, and it's actually fun. But of course, it's like a hardcore game.
I'll have to check that out afterwards, because I did see that on Steam, but I've never never thought to actually. Oh wow.
And it's not that expensive. I think it's like $20 or $30 or so. And it's a good game. I played it. I used to play Counter-Strike a lot. Now I play this game. Not because I worked on it, but because I really like it. So I can recommend it to you.
Wow!
And if you want, I can play with you, and we can talk about the design of the game if you like.
Okay, we seriously have to plan for that, because that sounds like a really... And I've never played that, so that would be, like, perfect. I'd love that.
And if you like horror games, it's kind of like a horror multiplayer game where you can also do the stealth thing. And it's probably like one of those rare games where the stealth multiplayer is done well. So, I mean, you can check the game, and maybe we could talk about it later. So.
I'd love to set some time aside to play that. That does sound like a really good time. Let's see.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, now that we finished it, there was one person. Oh, Reborn. Okay, he asked a question that I completely missed. So, the ending of Paranoia, was she always supposed to be inside the lab about to die, or did you have a different idea for the ending, or?
So no, I think. As you might know, if you play the second game, she's not dead. The girl, you can save her, and that's why the second game called like a saver, because you go back to the labs and you save the girl. So, and that's the plot or like a story of this game. So she's not dead, and if you play the second game, you will know why, or you will know what happens there. Yeah.
Very cool.
And speaking of I see the questions about Hunt. I'm not a game designer on Hunt. I'm a level designer, so I'm doing my part in like creating levels. So I'm just building some locations for that game. So the game was done by a lot of people. It's like a huge effort from a lot of people. So it's like a teamwork, and I'm doing just my small part. It's not the game done by me. It's I'm just like part of the team. So just like a small disclaimer.
Real quickly before we turn off the game. Oh, by the way, you mentioned the artwork. Okay, two things. Number one, do you have a high quality version of the poster without the signatures? Because I would like to get like actual signatures, but if they're just like printed on the poster itself, it's not the same. But I've always wanted like a giant game cover poster to hang up on my wall. So is that something you still have, or?
Yeah, I think I could check for that. But as I said, the original artwork, it wasn't done in like 4K or something. So I had to like upscale it. So it's not like a perfect quality. But for A5 like a format, if you print it, I think it looks good. And if you want, I can look and I can check the version of the poster without the signatures. So because I agree. I mean, it's cool for developers, but for the gamer itself, I think if you're fan of the mod, it's probably better if you have the poster without like all this stuff.
Well, I'd like the signatures, but I think it would. Well, I would like the signatures if like it was actually written down. Like if I took the poster to you, I'm like, can you sign this poster? Like that would be so cool.
I see. Yeah.
But like when it's printed, it's like
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not possible because our team, or it's like a former Paranoia team, we had people from like all around the world, and it's really hard to like really meet them in person. So I think I met probably like 2 or 3 guys in person, and it was fun, but it's almost impossible to get all of them like together and to do the signing.
Yeah.
But that's why I did this digital thing. So I asked them to sign and to scan the signature, and then I did all this thing. But yeah, it was nice.
That was smart.
It feels good. Cool.
You know, I'm curious. Like, do you have source versions of all the art? Like right now, like this console background. Like, do you have a high quality version of this? Because I can just imagine this on a wall, like this giant, long, like 40 by 21, like just a giant poster. I'd love for that.
For some of them, I think I still have them. Yes, so I just need to check because I have like it's somewhere in my archives, but not everything is there, like in source file. For example, you asked me about like a source for like a voiceovers for the audio, and I don't have it. But for those paintings, I think I still should have it somewhere. I just need to look.
Yeah, that'd
I can
be
share
cool
it. No problem.
What was I gonna? Oh yeah. Is it just like Goldsrc where I can type in maps and then? No, is there a command to look at all the maps? Because I'd like to show off all the background maps.
Yes, I think it is. You just type map and then the name of the map. I mean, which one would you like to see?
Just any of the background maps. Do you know the names of those?
The background? You mean you want to show this 3D background thing?
Yeah.
Right? Or so I think it's P in dust. I mean, I can P in dust 2. I think. Let me.
Oh, P.
Maybe this one.
Just because I wanted people to see, because the backgrounds are so cool, and I want to show them all off before we quit.
Yeah, actually, this one is a new feature. In the original Half-Life, the backgrounds are usually just static cube maps. You know, those panorama, like a static photo, or like a render. And in our case, we went for something that is more closer to Half-Life 2, where they render this miniature background into the skybox, and that's what we did here. So thanks to our programmer who did that. So we have the same feature as in Half-Life 2, in the original stuff. So, and if you type like no clip, you could fly probably.
No clip. Oh, SV cheats probably.
Yeah, SV cheats 1 and then no clip. Maybe you have to restart the map.
Yeah.
Or reload.
Did it work? Yes. Okay. It takes a while for it to load in.
Yeah.
Maybe? What? Oh, there we go. Hey! Alright.
Yeah, all this background stuff is usually like a low poly meshes that we place somewhere.
Oh, yikes. Sorry about that. Seizure warning. Oh, God, I didn't expect that. I was trying to see where the 3D skybox is, but...
Yeah, yeah. So it's basically the miniature of the background, which is which gets like rendered into this skybox, and the skybox is usually the box around the level, which represents the sky.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I keep getting a flashing screen. So, do you remember any of the background map names, or? I could probably check in the folders. Let me see. I'm gonna black the screen out just for a sec. Everybody, hang tight. And there we go.
Well, it really depends on what you would like to see, because the background is usually this pretty much the same as this on this first level. So I'm just like switching some, or like adding or removing some background models here and there. So I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean like the map, like the 3D background map, like on the menu.
On the menu.
How you have like a map that loads on the menu.
I think it's a new thing. Someone made it up. So back then, the menu map wasn't the thing for like the first Half-Life. I think it came with the second Half-Life.
Oh, I don't see any. Oh, I see credits.
So I'm not sure if you can actually do the background map in the first Half-Life.
Maybe
Is
if
it
I
even possible?
Yeah, I don't think.
Is it even legal? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I can get it to work. That's okay though. I mean, if you guys want to see the background maps that appear, then you can download the mod and check it out for yourself. But that's alright. Is there anything else we want to do in Paranoia before we quit out?
I don't know. Probably not. I mean, I think we already covered a lot of questions, right? And answered.
All right, sweet.
I don't know. So
I'm
as
sorry,
I said,
I'm a little...
if you want to play a Hunt Showdown together, I'm up for it. So
yes,
at some point we could do that for sure.
I don't know when, but you guys who watch my channel, be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for that. I will. If we're doing that, I'll definitely announce it, because that legitimately sounds like a really, really good time. All right. Well, damn. Even with me walking around and staring at random stuff, that was only a 2-hour stream, almost 3 hours. Like that's not bad.
Nice.
So there were a couple extra questions, more personal than mod related. And before I ask that, if anybody in the chat wants to ask any question whatsoever before we end the stream, please think of it now, write it down, type it out. I guess, are you open to people emailing you, or is there an email you want me to include, or I guess ModDB if people have questions?
Yeah, I think maybe on ModDB they could just comment. I mean, I read everything on the page.
Okay,
yeah.
So if anybody has any questions that they forget about asking or they think of later, go to the Paranoia ModDB and leave a comment on there. I guess for my final questions here, I don't have many. I was gonna ask you, have you done anything besides Paranoia? You worked on Hunt Showdown. Is there any other games you worked on?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I have a bunch of like projects, like a commercial projects that I've been like working on. But besides Paranoia, in terms of like a side projects, we started. I think it was like 2008. We started the mod called Metropolis, and unfortunately, I had to like cancel it because I had no like a programmer for that. But if you search like on ModDB for Metropolis, you could still find it. And in terms of like a setting, it's very similar to the Metro series, you know, the Metro games, this Metro Last Light and stuff like that. So it's a similar project, but unfortunately we had to cancel it, of course. Yes, that's all like about like a side projects. But speaking of like commercial games that I worked on, I also worked on Heroes Might and Magic 7. You know, the strategy game, the last game from the series. It's like a game from Ubisoft, and it was like a bunch of games from Crytek as well. I worked on like some games for VR, like one game called The Climb. I don't know if you're familiar with the VR games. The Climb, the game where you basically climb the mountain in VR.
Nice.
So, and the other game was called Robinson the Journey. I think it was also done by Crytek, the same developer. And it's like adventure game, also for VR, for PlayStation VR. There was another project, and my recent project is Hunt Showdown, which is like a multiplayer first-person PvP PvE game. So, and it's actually quite fun. Yeah, I think that's a project that like fits my taste. You know, the first-person stuff.
Yeah, and you mentioned your Metropolis mod. Is there any possibility, even a very small possibility, of you return to that in the future? And if there's no possibility, is there some kind of like way you can release the stuff you worked on? Maybe like the story documents or pictures or anything at all?
I think I already did. I think I released some like a concept art. It's all on this ModDB page, and actually the concept art was done by the same guy who did the art for Paranoia. And it was really cool artwork. If I find the link, I can send it to you. But the problem was that I read the book, you know, this Metro 2033.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, what would be cool to make a game which is like based on not the book but the same universe. And I took the other city that has like a metro, like a subway stuff, which is not like a Moscow, but it was like based on the other city. And I started like working, like doing like pre-production work, you know, collecting references and writing like a design document and stuff. And unfortunately, I couldn't find the programmer for that because it was complicated. And I started it with the UDK, which is like Unreal Engine 3. And it was really tough to find the guy who can do the stuff, you know, the programming for that engine back there, especially in the community, because I wanted to do it as like a free project, free to play project, like almost like a mod, but standalone. And that was one of the reasons I couldn't find the programmer. And after that, I played the original Metro 2033 game, and I realized that they already done this, and they've done it in a way that is much better than I even like imagined, you know. And they worked on this game for like 5 years or so, and they had like so many resources. So I'm not sure I could like top that, you know. And this. There's nothing new basically in my project, and that's why I canceled it. So unfortunately, but yeah, that was like a lesson for me. Never start like producing content if you don't have like a programmer or if you don't have like a gameplay prototype. So that would be my advice. So before making like investing into content, like investing your time or even money, just create something simple, like something playable, like a prototype that you can play even without like visuals. Like if just use some placeholders and like
Oh,
boxes, like a.
yeah.
So
I know you said
that's
you
the
weren't.
lesson I learned. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lesson that not a lot of current day modders learn. I know you said you weren't really big, you weren't deep into the community, but I've seen, I can't even tell you how many mods I've counted where they basically make a job post and they are looking for absolutely everybody. Like, they're not looking for a level designer or a concept artist or a sound designer or programmer. They're looking for programmer, sound guy, level guy, concept guy, modeler, texture. Like, they're looking for everybody. They basically don't even have a mod yet. And so many of these mods die because they don't have a good base. So that's really good advice.
Exactly.
Like, again, if you want to start a project and you want people to be interested, you have to come up with some kind of prototype. Absolutely.
Yeah, and you don't have to rely on your your future on the future help from someone else. You just have to do it yourself. So it's like that's how I started the mod. I just took this Spirit of Half-Life thing and I use it as a base, so I can do everything myself without a programmer. And then luckily I got like a nice programmer. But back then I already had some playable levels and I had some content. So I mean, in theory, I could do the whole Paranoia myself, you know. But of course, it won't be that awesome that it ended up being. So teamwork is always good, and you have to be like lucky to meet like a good people. And if they even like if they could help you, that would be even better. If they do it like for free, of course.
Yeah, and this was at the time when there wasn't even really a big social
Yeah.
presence. Like, this was
Yeah,
when the internet was still, kind of a new thing. So it
And we
definitely
did
was
it
a lot
for
harder.
fun. It wasn't done for money or something. And you know, with the second project, this Metropolis thing, it's again, I chose the new engine, and of course, I've been like learning new tools and stuff like that. But the community itself, for most of the people, it's just like a hobby, and they usually they're like living in a bubble, you know. So they don't want to grow. Sometimes they don't want to learn the new tools. They just do what they do best, right? And that's why most of the team members from the Paranoid team, they were used to like old tools, and they just for them it wasn't fun to learn like a new stuff. And that's why for me it was hard to like find or like find the new like a core members for the project, because it was like a new thing, like a new technology, new tools. And yeah, that's why I canceled this project. Yeah, and nowadays I'm really happy that most of the modern tools, they are very user friendly, and for especially I'm happy for this visual scripting thing. So I don't have to be a programmer to build my prototype. So I don't know if you're familiar with the Unreal, but they provide those blueprints tools, you know, so that you can be a programmer without writing any code. So which is cool. So in theory, if I do like some future project, I would do it myself, at least in the beginning. You know, at least the prototypes. So and yeah, that's the thing.
You know what? This one is gonna be a little more personal. It is absolutely up to you if you want to answer or not. I don't mind either way. I'm curious, how old were you when you very first started Paranoia? If you don't want to answer, that's okay.
No, that's okay. I mean, I'm fine with that. So at the moment, I'm 37, and back then, 20 something, 24, or was it like? Well, actually, wait, I was 21 actually. So yeah,
Wow.
I was like super young. But
Wow.
as I said, like back then, I already had some experience with creating levels for Counter-Strike, and I was like really exploring games not as just like something fun, but also I've been looking into games how they like done, what was like good in them, what was bad, and how to like make a good game basically. And yeah, that was the thing. Yeah.
Wow, that's
So
cool.
yeah, I'm old. Yeah, but yeah, in the inside, I'm like forever young, of course. But, that's why I don't have that much time for, for the modding as a hobby, because of course I have a family, so it's different nowadays.
Wait, so
Yeah.
okay, this just kind of came to me, but is there ever gonna? I assume you have like kids.
Not yet, but yeah, maybe in the future.
So
There will be kids.
you're gonna sit your kids down in front of Paranoia and say like, I made this.
Yeah. Yeah, I have so many. I have a huge collection of games, and I'll definitely play with them at some point, of course, with all like classics. And
Oh
maybe
yeah,
this
oh
mod
yeah.
would
Start
be
them
fun
off with
too.
the good stuff.
Because I would like to start from like really classics, like 8-bit Nintendo
I'm
stuff.
okay. I'm the same. I'm the same way. Like okay, when I have a kid someday, I'm not just gonna hand him like a phone or like an iPad or a tablet. I'm gonna be like, here's like the Super Nintendo controller. Go play some Mario. And by that
Exactly,
time, it's
yeah.
gonna be so old.
Yeah, they have to experience like all the thing. They have to go through the like evolution of the games, right? So they should. And actually, I tested it on my nephews. You know those like a new Nintendo Classic Mini stuff that
Yeah.
got released like a few years ago. I actually brought it to my nephews, and we played together with like a Nintendo Classic, like a Bomberman or some like a Mario,
Oh.
and they loved it because those old classics, it's just like timeless, and it's still fun to play. And for kids, it's very simple and it's easy to understand, and it's a good games. And I think every like a child should try it at least before
Oh
going
yeah.
into this modern like crazy games with the crazy graphics and a lot of details and
Oh man.
poor gameplay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, big time. My dad made Paranoia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
But
jeez.
as I said, for me it was like a fun project, and I'm still surprised that people are still like playing it, and I'm surprised that they even like it and they still remember it. So I'm happy. I'm happy. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. We're gonna end it in a little bit, but again, if you guys have any last minute questions you want to throw out there, again, it can be anything. Go for it. But I have a few that popped up. So this is going back to Half-Life 2 modding. Did you ever? Okay, so it was asked. Have you ever played source mods, multiplayer source mods like Zombie Master or Zombie Panic Source?
I think I tried some of them, like in the beginning. Or was it like some prop hunt modes? Some zombie, of course. It's like where you spawn as a zombie, right? And you have to like kill someone, right?
Yeah, Zombie Panic. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, I think I played some of them, but as I said, I wasn't really into like source mods
Mhm.
back then. I was more into like a Half-Life 1 mods. But I tried the tools. I think the tools back then, as I said, they were like too heavy for my PC.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was, and the tools itself, they were not that stable as they are now. So yeah, I think I played some like a medieval mods. Was it like a chivalry something?
Yeah.
Some other. I played Insurgency when it was released for as a mod back then. Was a cool mod multiplayer. Yeah, I had fun.
It's still crazy that people are making like Doom mods. But you'd be surprised, like a lot of people still make Half-Life 1 mods. It's even though we have like better tools, we have better computers, we have better technology, and yet people always still go back to the classics. Like that's so
Yeah.
cool, you know? Like it will never
I mean,
die.
if I would start if I would start like modding now, I think going back to Half-Life 1 is actually fun because you didn't experience those like a new modern tools yet. You don't know that all tools are actually not that like user friendly, so you just take it as a given, right? And for me, it was that. So I've been working with the tools as it was, And yeah, I think there was a question about something like a compiling a single map and stuff. I think it was fine back then, but nowadays, if I have experience with the modern tools where you can just with one jump you can jump in the game, with one button click you can jump into the game and you can play it directly. So if you compare that, Hammer is really dated, like outdated.
Oh,
completely.
yeah.
So especially with the lighting, to make the lighting, you have to do like you have to do like a test map, with all different presets where you check, because you're basically blind, while setting up the lighting. And modern games and modern engines in this regard, they are much more superior, they're like a new generation. And I would say that the old engines and the old tools, they are like really ancient. But as I said, if you are new to the modding, I think they might be fine for you if you experience them without having any experience with the new modern stuff. So, yeah.
All right. Okay, here is... Okay, so this one is not only a personal question, but it may be difficult to answer. What is your favorite fruit?
Oh, that's nice. Good question.
This one's kind of hard. You might have to think about it, but...
Yeah.
So favorite fruit, or do you not like fruit?
I would say it's like a watermelon,
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Okay, let me
watermelon
ask
is
you
awesome.
this. Have you ever put salt on a watermelon?
No.
What? Okay.
But maybe I should try it, yeah.
I tried that for the first time a couple years ago. It's such a weird combination, like watermelon and salt. But it's actually like really good. It's so weird how that works. It's like a sweet and salty type thing going on. But yeah, watermelon on like a hot day. Like when I was a kid and my mom would just leave out a bowl of watermelon when we were playing outside in like the sprinkler. Oh man.
Yeah.
You can never go wrong with that.
Yeah, exactly. I think every summer in August, I think when they start like selling a lot of watermelons, I eat them a lot. So I
Oh
love them.
man.
It's awesome.
So hey, good question. Heck, nice question. Okay, well, we'll give it maybe. Oh wait. Okay. This one is actually a little bit of a personal question, and
Yeah.
what do you think of the current situation with the Russian internet in general? Starting with government censorship and mentality of Russian internet users. I know you're in Germany, but do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, it's hard to tell for me because I'm not. I usually don't touch like all this politics and stuff, so I don't talk about it, and I'm fine. It's like I think as long as you don't make like any like political statements or something, you should be fine in any internet from if you're like living in any country. So it doesn't matter. So people don't because there is always people like arguing about something, and they
Yeah.
like to argue about like certain things, and I think it doesn't matter where it is. It's like which internet is that? Is it like people arguing in Russia or in US? So I think it's really that things. So I prefer not to talk about like politics. And
That
Yeah.
is a good answer.
Yeah.
That is the right answer. But thank you for the question, though. That was good. But yeah, that's pretty much how you have to handle stuff like that now. Okay, we're gonna give it like a cutoff point. So let's say 7 or 8 minutes. Any questions you guys want to throw out there? 7 or 8 minutes. Let's go. If you guys don't have any more, then we can end it now. But if there's any more itching questions about the mod itself, or maybe personal questions, or hell, hunt showdown questions, then just throw them out there. Otherwise, we'll call it a night. I guess while you guys are thinking of that, maybe I'm biased, but I thought this was a really fun stream. Gotta be honest with you. Like I know like you and I were both kind of going into this tired, but I had a really good time. I don't know. Was it alright for you or?
Yeah, same here. I think that was fun, and yeah, thank you for inviting me. I think that was a
Yeah.
cool experience. Yeah, and
Shoot.
that's my first stream dedicated to this paranoia stuff. That was really cool. And it's always pleasure to talk to someone who knows your work, you know, who is like really into this. Because if I talk to some, like, let's say to my colleagues, for example, they're not really from the community, from like a modding community, and some of them I don't really play mods. And if I try to explain what the mod is all like about, it's hard to talk about it. But yeah, I think we just have the same spirit, right?
Yeah. Hell
And
yes. We have our spirit of Half-Life.
yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, in that case, oh shit, this is a really good question. I don't know why nobody thought of this earlier. What did your I'm sorry, I was gonna say parents. What did your family think of Paranoia? Like, were they like involved in that, or were they supportive, or how'd that go?
No, but I think they're quite happy that I did something that the other people can recognize. So I think it's always cool to see, you know, when you print the cover for the disc and you like put it on the shelf, it always feels good, you know, that you achieved something, that you made something. It's either like a game or either you do something like wrote a book or something like that. So it's always a cool thing. Yeah, to do so, and I think my parents are quite happy that I found my place, you know, in life, of course.
Oh, that's
And,
cool.
yeah,
You know,
because
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, because that's like originally I thought I would be like a teacher, you know. So I studied in a teacher training university, and actually I worked for like 1 year in the school, and turns out the hobby in the future, you know, it basically created like a new opportunities for me, and I found like my first job, like a work by the accident, by this hobby. So, and I'm happy that I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm not like working I'm not like involved in something that I don't like, or involved in something that I'm not a fan of, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think my parents are quite happy that I found my place in life, so, and that's good. I'm also happy. You know, when you can play the games, when you can be creative, and you can like make a living out of it, so, which is cool.
You know, okay, I'm gonna ask this as kind of a joke, but not really. One of these days, it would be really cool to get like a boxed copy of Paranoia with your signature like on the front of it. Like that would be pretty cool. Like I just have that like on my desk or something to show off. Like that'd be so cool. Like it's kind of a joke, but hey, you know, maybe it's not a joke.
Could be. I don't know. Yeah, it is possible. I think nowadays the you can easily mail some stuff, like I mean proper mail. So yeah, why not? We'll see about it.
Okay, so this is just kind of a bunch of questions. The last one you may not want to answer. You do not have to answer. So Reborn says, favorite animal, favorite TV show, favorite movie, and fetishes.
Yeah, I can maybe give more answers so you guys could crack my email later. You know those questions. So from the movies, I really like the horror movies. I think that they are like really great. I really like movies dedicated to like those ghosts theme, you know. I like the movies related to like a zombie theme as well. Like original Evil Dead was amazing.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
was a fun project. I mean, fun movie. And for the ghost movies, I really like the movie called Woman in Black. Do you know this one? I think it's a cool movie as well. Very spooky. Yeah.
All right.
And speaking of games, it's like I can share maybe that one too. I'm a big fan of immersive sims. You know, the games like Dishonored, Deus Ex. I think in terms of like design, these games are amazing.
Yeah.
I love them a lot. And if you talk about like those adventure games, like a linear adventures, of course it's like a Half-Life 2 or like Uncharted series. I played a lot on PlayStation, and I like the games from Naughty Dog. I think they are awesome. So, and of course I'm a big fan of games from Valve, like Portal, Left 4 Dead.
Oh, you like... Wait.
On the
Okay, I got to interrupt that question with another question.
Yeah.
Which Left 4 Dead is your favorite? The first one or the second one? You are being judged.
Yeah, I like the first one because that's how I perceive it, you know, because it was like my first experience. Because when you accidentally activate this like car alarms and you see like the hordes of zombies like coming, I think that this experience is amazing, just great. And in terms of like art and the level design as well, I like the first one more. And the second one, for me, it feels more like an add-on, you know, it's like the same game but with a different content, like with the slightly improved mechanics and stuff. I mean, I'm sure there are people who like the second one more, but as I said, I mean, for some reason I like the first one more.
I'm so happy to hear you say that. Yeah. You actually said what I've been saying for years.
Yeah, okay.
You know, okay, third question to interrupt the question to interrupt the question. Is Left 4 Dead something you may want to sit down and do sometimes? Because I play a lot of community-made content, and I don't know, is that something you might want to do sometime? Just play a custom level or something? For a stream?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, not on like a daily basis. Or,
No.
But 1 or 2 times, yeah, we could do that.
Ooh.
For sure.
All right, so if anybody wants to port Paranoia to Left 4 Dead, we'll do it. I don't think that would work too well, though.
but again, it's like we have to find the right time.
Yes.
To do that, because it's like I think the time difference is huge for us, right? And I'm not sure about like the ping, probably.
Oh yeah.
Because if I play on like a service from Europe, and for me it would be fine, and for you it would be horrible, and the other way around, right?
Oh, in that case, I'd let you host, because hey, if it's better for you, then that's perfect, you know. That was also kind of a joke question.
We'll see. We need to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and then going back to the original question that we skipped like 3 times. Do you have a favorite TV show?
TV shows, okay. I think the latest TV show that was like really impressive for me was like a Breaking Bad. I think there was.
Oh yeah.
Breaking Bad was great. And yeah, what else? I don't know. I mean, I watched a lot of things. But it's hard to tell, to come up with something like specific.
Did you watch Breaking Bad in Russian dubbing or English?
No. I watch it in original. Yeah, I mean, I usually play games and watch movies in original language. Either it's like English or something else. So I just sometimes the localizations are not that great, and sometimes you can feel or you can tell that they translate like just they translate text out of context, and it just feels bad in the games. Yeah.
You know, that brings up a good point. I know I've talked to some people who speak another language, Russian, German, Spanish. Sometimes I've had people tell me that when they speak English, they start to lose their original language. Has that happened to you? Like, can you still speak like full 100%? Like,
tricky questions.